Yay, everybody, what's up? We are Easy Allies. My name is Brandon Jones. I'm joined by Daniel Bloodworth, and this is the Easy Allies Community Showcase for the month of October. If you're just tuning in now on Twitch, or if you're watching this on YouTube and you're wondering, what is the Easy Allies Community Showcase? This is a special tier that we have on patreon.com/easyallies, where we make most of the budget that funds Easy Allies. For $10 or above, you can submit once a month a photograph, a drawing, a piece of music, a video, or just a lovely comment, something that you yourself produced and you would like to share with myself, with my guest for the month, and with the rest of our wonderful community here on twitch.tv and on YouTube and throughout all of the world of Easy Allies. And we're going to kick it off with comments, and then we're going to get into the fun media stuff later. We're going to put these headphones, listen to a lot of great music. Music definitely wins out. I think we only have 2 videos this time, but we got a lot of great music. We have some people jumped in right at the last minute. I think I have at least 2 posts from people that just either their comments, we've known to have invisible comments on Patreon before, so some people I think just finally surfaced, or they did not post until this morning. I gathered all this stuff last night, and then when I checked right before the end, last night I had 70 of 79 comments visible. When I just checked now, I had 72 of 83. And so some work might slip through the cracks. Yeah, and we brought this up in Kappa Jones this morning, but if you are having issues, like repeated issues where you can't get a submission through, then yeah, just send us a private message on Patreon, and then we can double check your patron tier and make sure it gets in there. But this is going to be 2 to 3 hours of us talking about stuff. So if you're watching this live, we're not playing any games. One person throughout this later when we look at videos is going to describe making a game and is going to troll you on pronunciations. I can't wait.
Troll me?
Oh yeah, specifically with clips.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm always the one that mispronounces everything, because I'm the one that reads everybody's names. Okay. But you said the name wrong. I also said the name wrong, so I think the video has me saying it wrong twice and you saying it wrong once. So
got it.
I still get trolled more than you do. But we're gonna kick it off with comments. Thank you to everybody. We saw a lot of really great. Right before we started the show, we saw a lot of people resubbing and subbing in Twitch. So thank you so much for all of our wonderful support on Patreon, of course, at the $10 and above level, and all the people that are subbing on Twitch today. But let's roll into it. Kicking it off with Pokey Clyde. 52K is so close I can taste it. I need a Huber and Kyle full playthrough of Resident Evil 2 remake in the new year. Also, Jones, good work on getting Final Fantasy VI into Hall of Greats. If you got snubbed, I was going to riot. Anyway, keep up the good work, allies. Any full playthroughs you're feeling? Anything?
Oh, yeah, I haven't thought about like when we actually do it. I know I want to get back to that Super Mario RPG.
We're almost at 51, Blood. We got it.
But
come on.
But I know that like, that's going to be a whole other thing, because that's going to be like a multi-day playthrough. So it's like we need to get like a couple of one-sitting playthroughs in there first. So yeah. But what comes first? It's a tricky one. Yeah,
it'd be interesting if we get the PlayStation Classic before we hit that goal.
Right.
Might be fun to crack into some of that.
For sure. Yeah, Jumping Flash full playthrough would be great. I really missed that game. I played it like a little bit at the store, but that was about it.
Jumping Flash was my jam. The PS1 era. I love Jumping Flash. Jumping Flash 1 and 2. Yeah, I think if I did a full playthrough, it would probably be something very retro. Maybe go back and actually take notes, or maybe get graph paper and do Goonies 2 justice. Actually, like get through the entire thing. Yeah, it'd be fun to maybe play an NES game or something on the Super Nintendo. MGS Junkie, love this. Hello, Blood. What is your favorite car and why?
My favorite car. I don't know that I really have a favorite, but I will say one that I gravitate to a lot is the old Corvette Stingray with the long front.
Ooh, nice.
I was just playing with one of those in Forza last night with like a Hot Wheels livery and everything.
What's that like goofy looking car? It looks like the Pope Mobile. It's just like there's like super flat front and a big glass like windshield. And there's just like you took a picture of you in it. Some really
I don't remember what it was
looks
called.
Like it runs on batteries.
Yeah, it was this really, really tiny car, and I think it only had like 3 wheels too. Like it was like 2 wheels in the front and 1 in the back. Like it totally could flip over. And it like maxed out at like 40 miles per hour, I think.
Nice. Yeah, I'm when I play GTA, I'm a big fan of like your Dodge Charger, your like Chevy Camaro, like those types of like sports cars, or the GTA equivalents of.
It wasn't a Reliant Robin, but it was similar, yeah.
Oh. All right. Oh, the Batmobile, of course, yeah. Boy, that would be a great addition to Forza. I would play Forza. I'd be like, I got to unlock the Batmobile. Brandon K. Gann, I'm going to spend my comment for the second month in a row based off of an EZA stream, and this comment is something I've wanted to do for a little while now. While I won't be able to field the 5-minute cross-examination, I too wish to make a Hall of Greats case. Disclaimer, this is entirely for fun and in no way should nor will be taken, though if any of the allies want to use said game in any reasoning, all the power to them. So what should I champion? My favorite game of all time, and right the horrible wrong that the franchise doesn't have more representation in Final Fantasy VII? Or perhaps 1 year later bring back an excellent title that should be in one day, The Last of Us. Nay. Ladies and gentlemen, Gears of War 2 is one of the greats. The original wowed many a gamer with it being a marquee showpiece on HD graphics at the start of the 7th generation, highlighting an involved cover system and prioritizing couch co-op in a satisfying way to play. But the sequel refined and even introduced landmark elements that many games have copied. More weapons, more enemy types, polished mechanics.
So many games have copied more weapons.
Oof. Just jumping in on the hog thing. Oh, rough. Short of Gears 3 gameplay, Gears 2 is the best Gears of the series. Looking at the 3 modes, starting with the campaign, the originals is compelling, though there isn't much in terms of really connecting with the characters as characters. Gears 2 makes it its mission to provide a personal tale against the backdrop of an all-out, desperate final assault from humanity to prevent their extinction. Multiplayer became a lot more approachable. The original required players to start, but in Gears 2, you could play against bots with customizable settings such as difficulty, round length, etc. It also had more modes than the original to chainsaw your way through the opposition, or point blank shotgun them to bits. Whichever the situation requires, apologies. Sadly, modern Gears is now a hybrid of this, requiring other people to play, whether against others or the computer. And of course, the mode that made its mark on gaming, Horde. Personally, I'm not a fan of Horde because I don't like lengthy game modes that are just wave after wave of increasingly difficult enemies, but it cannot be denied that post-Gears 2, many games included their own version of Horde. Halo 3, ODST's Firefight, Left 4 Dead's Survival, and of course, the mode now synonymous with Call of Duty, Zombies. Yes, Gears 2 Horde mode was improved upon with each sequel, but without the original's version, who knows how much of its impact wouldn't be felt today. In conclusion, Gears of War 2 is a much improved sequel to, at the time, a system seller for the Xbox 360. And in all 3 modes of a compelling campaign, a malleable and engaging multiplayer suite, and the engrossing Horde, it has established itself as one of the greats. We've learned. How do you feel about actually saying one of the greats in the pitch? Do you side with Bossman that that's bad form?
I think for one, it can just get a little bit repetitive.
Sure.
If everybody says that, yeah. But
Gears 2 didn't play Gears 2. Played Gears 1 like 2 or 3 times. I'm
sure I played it. Yeah, I definitely played it. The funny thing to me is people connecting with that story, and that's the one thing that I've never done in a Gears game is connect with the story.
I had a hard time in 4. Yeah,
and because of that, I love playing through those games. The mechanics are just nailed down and feel so good. With the cover and the active reload and the great big set pieces and the way that you can cooperate with another player. But a lot of times they don't stick with me as much because I never really connect to those characters. They always feel like caricatures to me.
Right.
The way that they're all written. And even when they try to get emotional, I'm just like, this doesn't add up to me, but okay.
Would that be your counter if like Dawn brought Gears 2? Would that be, you'd be like, Dawn, to be honest,
I mean,
like Brandon Gann is sitting on the couch.
You know, a lot of the times we bring out counters just because we have to bring out a counter. And that's one of those things where it's like, I would throw that out there.
Right.
It's not really going to make a big difference to me, you know? So, yeah, I think I could definitely see that as an argument to be in there. And speaking to Horde, I think that the reason Gears 2 Horde stands out so much is because it is so good, and all those other copycats just feel like copycats.
Yeah.
They really just, for whatever reason, as much as they try to like get this formula down, it just feels like they're trying to get a formula, and they're not capturing the same level of fun and the same level of tight gameplay. Interesting
that they had bots and they don't anymore. I wonder why, what the reasoning was there to get rid of something that Brandon liked. Thank you for a Hall of Greats attempt there. I love it. It's not easy, is it, to sum all that stuff up? I wonder if that was 5 minutes. Jason A. Sackle. For the month of September, there were 2 games that I played, both of which I had highly anticipated. Spider-Man and Transference. Transference. I had fun with this game and played in VR. While super short, there was enough substance in the story to feel satisfied. Unfortunately, the puzzles offered zero challenge. The demo's content is not in the game at all. For those curious, that is worth giving a look. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Thanks. I love that, like, he said Spider-Man and Transference. We get, like, 4 sentences on Transference and then a book on Spider-Man. Here we go. Spider-Man. This game is fun. I enjoy swinging around NYC. It was the first thing I did once I could do whatever. All right, enough gushing. Holy hell, this game is buggy. Interesting. Within my first hour, I hit an invisible wall in the middle of battle. It was some mission at the heliport behind 55 Water. I had an indefinite black loading screen happen a few times. It became quite entertaining because cars would begin honking, and it created a dialogue of New Yorkers being impatient for the loading screen. One guy even shouted, "What's taking so long?" I do want to congratulate the game, as I now have a new favorite thing I absolutely despise in a game. It was during one of those neat times where I had time to kill before the next story mission appeared on the map. Let me do this little side mission. I start the mission, and it changes from day to night. From that point on, the game had no stakes when it came to the story for me. Time became irrelevant. I never felt the need to take care of something right away. I know that this isn't the first game to do time-of-day transitions either, but from the games I have played at least, the first to do this poorly. For a game that is story-driven, it should have just said, "Come back at night," or something. I agree. I agree that was a little bit weird. That did not affect me that much. It also had a really bad audio bug. Gonna try to avoid spoilers, so sorry if this makes no sense. In a scene at the end where the E3 demo took place, during that final part we saw in the presentation, the sound effects lowered to soft, and all I heard for the most part was the music. The main villain's dialogue was also missing completely. I thought it was a really neat style choice to display confusion and hopelessness of the situation. Then the next scene started, still no dialogue, and I figured something was wrong. I had to look up the scene on YouTube to hear how it should have sounded. I ended up being glad that I got the glitch, because I liked the scene a lot more with it. You like glitches.
Yeah, I do.
you tend to attract them more. Have you played Spider-Man at all?
Haven't got to play Spider-Man yet, no.
Boy, I didn't get any of this. I got a crash once, and I got I had two other weird bugs that I can't remember. They were when I took a picture of some of the locations, it didn't. I was like, I'm taking a picture of it, it's highlighted, and they're like, take a picture. And I'm like, I did. And so I just like gave up and then came back later and did it again, and it worked. Yeah, not only are these new, just from my experience, I haven't heard a lot of people talking about glitches in Spider-Man, but get screenshots of this stuff, get video of this stuff. To end on a high note...
I mean, that's one thing that's really fun now, is that you just hit that button.
Screen grab, yeah.
Yeah.
I was playing Red Dead Redemption the other day, and I'd screen grabbed this, and I was shooting a deer, I think, on horseback, and then I looked over, and a hawk was just like there, like on horseback right next to me. I was like, oh, hi. Just like shot right next to me, and like slowly, like I was in bullet time. So, had to grab that clip. To end on a high note, I ended up going to Epcot for the Food and Wine Festival. My friends even convinced me to finally buy a few of those pin thingies. Yeah, the magic bands also make everything so convenient. Disney World in general, but Epcot specifically, easily remains the best of all the Disney parks. Jason Sackle has some opinions.
He says he did put those clips on Twitter.
Oh, nice. Oh, cool. I will follow those. Epcot. Wow, Sackle. The best of all of the parks. I have evidence possibly that will refute that later. We have some visual evidence of other good Disney parks in other places of the world later in this. I was given free reign to pick what images I wanted to of the collection. But yeah, that sucks, man. It's hard to like argue with somebody who got a glitch, you know, who's like, I wanted to play this game, but technically it was really frustrating.
Well, what I hate is when
like, well, if that didn't happen to me, I can't say it didn't happen to you.
When a glitch is just really weird that it's hard to even describe.
Right.
Like, I'm coming across this thing in Forza where I'm just like, what just happened? Because it's like every once in a while I'll be driving along, and I think it has something to do with connecting to servers or connecting to other players or something.
Yeah.
And I'll be driving along, and the game just kind of goes into slow motion for a second, and then it like speeds up and catches back up to where it should be. And I'm just like, did I record that? Like, how am I gonna even complain about it? Because it's not even long enough to where it affects me, but I definitely notice it. It's just so weird.
Have you ever had that happen in a race or just when you're running around the world?
Both.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's weird.
Do you, like, crash into something when it speeds up? And you're just like,
Like, no.
Oh, okay.
Because, again, it doesn't even seem to be, like, screwing with my controls or anything. It's just
Everyone
like...
says that's happening to him, too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's definitely a weird thing.
Sumiana says seems like a server catch-up. Thank you, Jason. Caesar Villa... Hello, Blood and Brandon. It's October, so to kick off Halloween season, I want to share a story about a ghost that I could swear didn't exist and was a product of people's imagination. Paid me a visit. Yeah. Here we go. It was the summer of 2017. A couple of my wife's high school friends decided to visit us and spend a week in our home. In our home, some of her friends brought her 7-year-old. One of her friends brought her 7-year-old daughter with her, and me thinking that she may get bored with no other kids around, I unplugged the Wii from the LCD TV in our bedroom and moved it to the old CRT in the hall where I have the NES and SNES plugged. The kid never played it, but that event was the trigger for what's next. One day, they were out sightseeing while I stayed at home, and a little bored, I turned on the Wii to keep playing Rhythm Heaven Fever. I got the DS original after watching the GT review on it and spotted it in a sale on Amazon, and those were well-spent dollars. I devoured that game, getting a perfect score in all of the events in 2 different files. I wanted to repeat that feat in the Wii sequel. I was only missing around 10 to 15 perfect scores, but I was not able to play as much because I used my 1-hour commute to play the DS one. But for the Wii, I had to borrow from the quality time with the wife. I turned on the Wii, thinking that I would make thinking I could make pretty good progress in a 2-hour session. But then I couldn't explain what was happening. I'm failing miserably. Games where I got only a few errors in previous sessions, now I can't even beat. Oh my god, seriously, what is happening? After many tries and controller changes, thinking that it could be the problem, it finally hit me. Input lag. I remember watching streams from different outlets, including you guys, where people just randomly said, oh, I failed because of the input lag. And I just thought, bunch of wimps. I never truly believed it could have such an impact, but this being a rhythm game where timing is everything, yeah, I finally understood how problematic it could be. Still, whenever I see some thread in Reddit asking about input lag or complaining about it on a game or setup, I default to my bunch of wimps response, but then I remember that day when that ghost manifested itself to me, and I feel a shiver down my spine. Love and respect, Caesar.
The weird thing, he says he got input lag when he hooked it up to a CRT. CRT?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
It's a ghost. Supernatural.
CRT should be
unexplained.
Less lag.
Paranormal. You got wimped, man. I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping there was a real ghost in that story, but it's still a good story. Alexander Zirionov. Hello, Daniel. Ouch. I was just hello, Daniel. That's it.
Oh,
I just
right.
I just do the reading here. I was waiting for you to talk about my 2018 GOTY, Detroit Become Human. I know that the year isn't over yet, but I'm sure that nothing will top this game because for me, it is perfect. Even game weaknesses made my experience better. I had some problems with controls, especially the right stick during QuickTime events, but those mistakes only convinced me that I'm controlling not an obedient robot, but a living being who can't achieve everything he wants. Also, this game is criticized for obscure dialogue options, but sometimes I also say not what I wanted to say, so dealing with consequences of miscommunication was very touching and a relatable experience.
Okay.
The visual, he's being very forgiving. The visuals are very important for me, and in this game, they are simply amazing. Lighting and the number of details let you breathe the atmosphere of every place you're in. Camera work and editing keep you engaged even in static scenes. And characters are so convincing that in many scenes, I could swear that I'm watching a live-action movie. And let's talk about the game's story. In most games, you can guess consequences of your actions and follow the chosen path without much thinking. Detroit: Become Human is different. Characters can die even in quiet scenes, and events can start happening before you prepare to react. Even small decisions matter, so when I had to make big ones, I was using all my knowledge, intuition, and life experience to find the right answer. For the entirety of my first playthrough, I was on the edge of my seat, filled with excitement, doubt, sorrow, and hope. And even though my ending was far from perfect, it felt like a miraculous achievement. After finishing the game a couple more times, I've decided to unlock every mode on every flowchart. Even with the help of the internet, this is an enormous task, because some nodes can only be achieved if you made a certain choice 25 chapters earlier, or if you have certain relationships at a very specific level, while keeping only certain characters alive. I've spent several days just planning my playthroughs and almost a month executing them. Of course, I had to watch a lot of repeated cutscenes, but I was rewarded with scenes and events that seemed impossible. Spoiler warning, as I'm about to give some examples. All right, I'll have my hand up during the spoilers. Kara can willingly abandon Alice and Luther. Marcus can be kicked out from Jericho by North. Connor can become a machine after he becomes deviant. Also, there is a completely different ending, which I will not spoil, because it is not even hinted on the flowcharts.
Whoa.
Yeah. Detroit: Become Human sets you on a compelling path filled with rich characters, lets you make your own choices and learn from your mistakes. On top of that, this game made me emotional, which almost never happens. This is what I'm playing games for, so for me it's obvious. 2018 GOTY is Detroit: Become Human.
Nice. I definitely think it's the strongest of their games, which I think I said exactly in the review. Cody's gonna be a tough fight, though.
Yeah,
that's a tricky one. And I think there's a lot of allies that haven't touched that game and don't seem interested in it.
Probably not. Yeah, before the end of this year, I really want to. I'm at the point now where I'm looking ahead at GOTYs and Shadow the Tomb Raider and Odyssey, or like Odyssey.
I would just not even worry about Shadow the Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Odyssey was just not on my radar, and it just people are just going insane for this game. So yeah, if I get at the end of the year and I've played a lot.
It is funny to say Odyssey
games,
though, because we had Mario Odyssey last year, so
it's the official Odyssey of 2018. And I love this too because I don't get a sense that Alexander's like, all of you should like this game. This should be everyone's GOTY. It's like, just personally, this really resonated with me. And we were talking also just about. Not recently on the showcase, but on Cup of Jones this morning, we were talking about really being invested in a game, just playing one MMO, just playing Destiny, just playing Call of Duty for months and months and months after it comes out. And so I love this. I love hearing the story of somebody who's like, instead of moving on to another game, I'm like, no, I'm going to play this again. I'm going to get these other little beats and really, really dig in there.
Oh, the game makes it super tempting.
And
it really, like, you really want to go right in and just try everything that you can, and then, but it's overwhelming. But if you have the time, I definitely would go for it. Whoever's committed to that on their YouTube channel, I'm sure is getting tons of views.
PandaCon, I'm caught up on One Piece.
Wow. You want to talk about commitment.
I'm curious when they started. That's like the big question.
That's true.
Was this like a lifetime achievement, or is this you start last year? That's I think a feat that no ally can claim. So congratulations. Eric Jackson, it's been a rough and tumble month, but now that I've finished a couple circus shows, I want to knuckle down on some quality art. Sculptured and painted the first image, so I can say my sculpture degree isn't going to waste. Smiley face. So hopefully some more
sculpture
pieces.
Degree. That's pretty nice.
So hopefully we will get some fun sculptures from Eric Jackson in the future. And if you've reposted with images, let me know. All I saw was the comment. But it sounds like a teaser. Sounds like something we can expect in the future. Stephen Beaumont, hey guys. This month was very bill heavy, so I have been mostly unable to buy new games.
They just say they updated the post.
Oh no. Eric Jackson did?
Yeah.
Oh no. So there was something we missed?
Sounds like it.
Okay. I will make a note because there are 2 posts that I saw, so I'm going to jump on Salad Mike at the end and throw those clips in there. And I will search for it, Eric. Stephen Beaumont, let me actually write that at the end when we're done with the whole thing. I'll find it.
There are 2 images.
2 images, okay. Sorry, Eric. Stephen Beaumont. Hey guys, this month was very bill heavy, so I have been mostly unable to buy new games. I've surpassed level 50 in Monster Hunter World and would easily give it my current gameplay goatee, but beaten out
You're talking about catching up on stuff. There's a tricky one, huh?
Forget about it. Slightly overhauled by God of War in terms of tightness and polish. The two exceptions I had to make was for the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle. 4 of the 7 games are near and dear to my heart, as I played them on MAME emulation in the late 90s due to our first computer being made by a computer technician whom my father had built their house. So, all these years later, to see Knights of the Round, Warriors of Fate, and King of the Dragons, the 4th being Final Fight, in the palm of my hands was so exciting. I finished King of Dragons again for the first time in over 15 years, and it was glorious. My proudest achievement so far was beating every boss and only using 1 or 2 lives for each boss. Very scrub brag. The other game was Final Fantasy XV Pocket Edition, and before all the naysayers throw me off a bridge, I will say that I approached this game very cautiously. I've beaten a fair amount of Square properties, but I've yet to see the credits of a single Final Fantasy game. That being said, when they showed Final Fantasy XV gameplay for the first time, I was excited as a Kingdom Hearts fan to see the game move to an ARPG. I thought that this was the game I would jump into the series on, but alas, 2016/17 came and went to no avail. Every time Final Fantasy XV went on sale on PSN, I would weigh up my time, whether I was already invested in a 100-hour game, and my budget, and it would always fall to 3rd or 4th on my budget game index. Then, finally comes the Switch release, Pocket HD. Sigh, but I was very curious, and that intro price point, specifically says, did some delving, and the internet liked the game, and wait, 10 to 15 hour playtime? Not paid till next week. Full price after promo? Oh god, no. F it. Buy, play, having fun. If I finish this game, the real game will definitely be higher on my cheap deal index. I also finally beat the original Zelda on the NES Online. I now have completed 9 out of the 18 Zelda games. After your latest Cup of Jones, you now have me wanting Dragon Quest over Spider-Man. I love both genres, Jones, so please settle this for me. Love and utmost respect. Well done on your successful Hall of Great entry, Jones. Spider-Man. Definitely do Spider-Man between those two.
Well, you can get it out of the way first.
You could definitely get it out of the way first, yeah. That's only like just probably about 20 to 30 hours versus Dragon Quest, which I finished the final boss with 112 hours, I think, to spare.
Nice.
So, and there's a dumb thing. Not the first credits, but the second credit boss. There's like a thing you have to do that I like told Brad. I was like, yeah, I tried that boss once and forget it. Brad's like, you gotta do the thing. And I was like, oh, okay. And then did the thing, and very easy fight. Mike Hook 1, if you're all level 99, like I was. Hi guys, every season I look forward to the Easy Allies Hall of Greats. I always have a great time. Well, until this last one.
Uh-oh.
I have accepted that this series is a work in progress. I didn't like that you could vote for your own game, but you fixed that. But as soon as you did, alliances started happening. Why did they happen? I believe because Kyle has to have control in the outcome. Yes. Pokemon Red and Blue beat Ben's Mega Man X because Kyle voted for his game and Ben did not. That was not fair. Kyle's Mega Man Legends was not banned because of his alliance with Dawn. That's not fair. This last one was just awful with multi-alliances and weird dealings. Put a stop to this. Make it fair. You may think that this isn't the right place for Community Showcase. Totally. This is great. But based on the comments, it has affected the community and it affected me. With all my love, put an end to it and let's have a clean Hall of Greats going forward. Yes. We have internally made that decision. No alliances, none of that. I felt a little dirty. I'd never done an alliance, and Brad came to me and wanted to do one, and I was like, okay. But after it was done, and I saw comments, I was like, yeah, it just kind of feels icky. I think the main thing was, I think one of the main reasons I was okay with it was Bossman was just doing a 1-vote alliance. And so that was just the one coin vote, the one werehog vote. And he wasn't doing it to win because he knew he wouldn't with Mega Man Legends. He just wanted to be able to talk about it. It was a bit. He wanted the bit to go on. That was Bossman, fighting for the bit. But it would be so rad if the gloves are taken off, no alliances, he brings Legends, and it gets knocked out. I wonder if he's going to be scared too. I wonder what Kyle's going to bring next time. But thank you, Mike. Thank you for expressing that. Ms. Racy, if there was one non-monetary thing that the EZA community could do for you guys, or perhaps something you'd like to do for the community to know, what would it be? And she said she mentioned this on the Q&A, but I don't remember this in the Q&A. I might have skipped it.
I missed most of the Q&A.
If there was one non-monetary thing that the EZA community could do for you guys, or perhaps something you'd like for the community to know, what would it be?
It sounds like a huge commitment.
Just something beyond giving us money that people could do.
Right.
I think it's just always, share, be involved. watch our stuff, watch our big events when they're live. You know, like come and hang out with us and help us get those sub numbers up. Spread the word. Retweet if you can.
Hang out with us. For sure.
Just a general social engagement. Yeah. Which I know you're like, boring answer, but it's like it really is important, and I think it might be something that you take for granted how much it means to us for everybody being involved.
Be a nice person.
Be nice to people. Yeah. And I think it's a great example to talk about that, because here we have a live stream that we're doing now that you might be watching the archive of on YouTube later that comes from, submissions from us from a post that we made on Patreon. So there's just a great like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth in creating this specific showcase. So I think it's a great example of this. We would not be here without community involvement. And I love, we just did Cup of Jones this morning, and I love when we'll go through Cup of Jones or showcase and I'll be like, yes, Mike Hook, yes, Jason Sackle, yes, like names I'm familiar with, Brandon Gann, and then seeing people like, I've never seen this person before, and somebody specifically at the showcase level just jumping in and like, I have never written into, I'm not that active in the forums or on Twitch, and I've never written in a Cup of Jones. This is my first time, so involvement is king. Carl Williams, hey Jones and Blood, I don't have any games to discuss, so instead I want to talk about the Pokemon anime. I'm following the Twitch marathon, and the marathon has been a mixture of both nostalgia and new experiences. I used to watch Pokemon when it premiered, but stopped at some point during the Orange Island saga, so watching Johto and beyond will be a fresh experience, especially because I never played any of the main games. At the time I'm writing this, the Johto saga will have ended, so I'm anticipating the Hone saga. With the Johto saga complete, I figured I would give a few takes. And you have not watched a single episode of Pokemon, the show?
I've had it. I mean, I always have Twitch open, so it's sort of there. But no, I don't have any real reference to what's going on.
So people say you're always watching, but you are always watching. And he just chuckles. I love it. The Kanto region is still as entertaining as ever, while the Orange Islands were pretty much boring. I didn't see all the Johto episodes during the marathon, but I did enjoy most of the episodes I watched. I pretty much loved all of the Gen 2 Pokemon that were featured. It's hard for me to pick a clear-cut favorite, but Wobbuffet, Totodile.
I think Wobbuffet.
Wobbuffet? Oh, I love Wobbuffet. Totodile and Snubble were hilarious. Cyndaquil, Chikorita, and Smoochum were adorable. Never run into an Ursaring. Don't piss off a parent Lugia. You'll never catch Entei. All right.
Wow.
There you go. Oh, there's 3 more. Team Rocket are without question the best characters on the show. Practically everything about them, chemistry, humor, backstory, costumes, is gold. The same cannot be said of the OG crew of Ash, Misty, and Brock. Brock's shtick of falling for every girl the group encounters gets old quick. Misty can be downright insufferable sometimes, especially when she berates or insults Psyduck. I absolutely can't stand Ash, though. There are way too many moments where my dislike for Ash keeps growing. The Bayleaf episode where Ash just yells at Bayleaf to go away and stay away straight up pisses me off. I feel good knowing Ash will never win a league championship, Orange League not counted. Gary was right. Ash is a loser. But since Gary lost to Ash and Johto, he's a loser too. You disappoint me, Gary. Can't wait to see what May, Max, and the other new companions are all about. Number 3, Pokemon the First Movie was the only Pokemon movie I saw before the marathon. I saw it when it originally came to theaters. There were a few things I remembered. Mewtwo being awesome, regular and cloned Pokemon fighting each other, Ash dying. Whoa, spoilers. It was nice to see the movie again, but holy crap, that movie is god-awful. The second movie wasn't any better, but I did like the Entei and Lucario moves more. Number 4, so far I think 4Kids has done a pretty good job with the dub. The cast is great. I liked 4 of the 5 opening songs. The songs they used at the end of each episode in the earlier seasons were catchy. There have been some miscues, whether it be censorship or the treatment of rice balls, but they made the show fun to watch. The switch to the new cast will be brutal. I've reached the 500-word limit, so I will continue my thoughts next month. Smell you later. I love it.
Chad is not having it.
They're not having his takes?
The first 2 movies are amazing. How dare you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the showcase, baby. I was surprised. I think Jason Sackle had some legitimate arguments against Spider-Man. Like, those seems like some frustrating things to deal with. And I disagree with him about the time thing, but like, I totally see where he's coming from. Where like that is jarring, and all of a sudden it's like you're back in the day. But like, yeah, Sackle can take the gloves off sometimes. So I love it. Opinions. Super 3D Cow. Back in the late 90s, when I was around 8 years old, and my brothers were a few years older, we discovered how much fun it was to scare kids on Halloween. My dad had a compact disc with some T-Rex roaring sounds, followed by chewing on bones. It was on a Cincinnati Pops Orchestra release with fantasy adventure film scores, with some random sound compilations thrown in. This one was called Jurassic Lunch. In front of our house was a brick walkway with some chest-high bushes. My brother stuffed my old white Power Ranger costume to make a dummy and propped it up in front of the bushes. Both of my brothers dressed in all black, waiting, hiding behind, with one with a boombox at full volume queued up at the T-Rex roaring. Let me take a moment to let you know, people in our neighborhood never did anything very scary to trick-or-treaters. It was all mild scares. Until today. As kids walked by the dummy, they would hear a humongous T-Rex roar as my brother reached over the bushes right next to them, grabbing the dummy and whipping it behind the bushes. Many kids screamed in absolute terror. In the larger groups, some kids actually thought we were taking one of their friends. For years, so many kids knew us as the scariest house in the neighborhood. On a video game side of things, I've never played through the first 3 Resident Evil games. I have Resident Evil Remake and the original Resident Evil 2 ready to play for the days leading up to Halloween. Can't wait.
Funny. I saw a viral video going around from Dick Van Dyke.
Tell Chad, I think there might be a leaf blower coming.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so he has a crew set up scary stuff outside of his house, and so they were testing this gag where they had this big monster, like prepping the kids and everything, and they had like big crooked teeth and mustache and beard, and the kids are focused on the face of this animatronic thing, and then it makes this huge like loud scream, and underneath the head there's basically like an opening, and like an actor rushes out and just chases the kids down the street.
Down the street. Someone's gonna skin their knees. Someone's gonna fall and poke their eye out. Yeah, I remember. I still, man, every time I go to Knott's Scary Farm or I go to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios, I try to recapture this moment. But one time I went through a maze that was Leatherface. It was Texas Chainsaw, and this guy came through a door. And I think it was in the back lot. It was like back where like the Psycho house is. So there's a bunch of like nature trails, a bunch of like wide open fields. And so they can kind of like build whatever they want to in the space. I think this guy must have had like a 20-yard lead up that he could just run full speed at this door. Because this guy came through this door, and like sometimes they'll have people on like pulleys so they can drop, but then they'll get like yanked away like before they can actually get to somebody. And this guy had like a gap between the door that he opened up and us. So there was like, he didn't just come right into the room. There was like a barrier. But this guy flew into this room. Like the door opened up and he had the chainsaw going, and he just like was in flight when he like came through this door. And I've just never had somebody appear out of nowhere that fast. And I just remember, I just remember like every time I think about scares, I'm like, nothing will ever top that. Because I was just not. And I think I even saw the door and I was like, somebody's going to come out of it. And I just did not think the guy was gonna like race like before he like actually got to the door. But yeah, scary people can, I mean, it's Halloween, I guess trick-or-treaters. If you're just scaring people in like March, it's like I would be concerned for you and your friends and your family. But it's Halloween, and as mean as it can be to scare people, man, scares, when I get a good scare, and it's just the best. Curious, do you any like, they don't have to be even Halloween related, or any like just good scares in the life of Bloodworth that you remember? I remember the most terrified I've ever been in my life. I hold that memory. It was so stupid, but it's like sometimes when I get scared, it's like, my brain can still kind of process what I'm looking at, but it's just like like the shock of it. This I like could feel electricity in my body. I really felt like my nerves just completely like lock up. And I had a bunk bed that there wasn't a bed beneath it, but it was, I guess it's not a bunk bed, but an elevated bed. And beneath the bed was my closet. And I went down in my closet one night to get something, and I had a walk-in closet, so there were shelves on either side. And I was searching for something with my hands because it was dark. And my shoulder nudged a mirror that laughs when you pick it up. So you like pick up the mirror and look at it, and ha 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 ha, and it laughs. And you're like, oh, I'm ugly. I get it. Okay, mirror. And I just nudged this thing, and laughter was just like right in my ear. It was just right at like head level. And it was the last thing I thought was going to happen. You know, it was like if there was like a loud bang or like the lights turned on or something, that would be shocking. But it was just not expecting laughter. Like right in my, like I had headphones on. It was right there. And like my whole body shut down. I was just like, what? And then like 3 seconds later, I was like, that's that dumb mirror. I knew what it was. But like, oh, I'll never forget that jolt. It was like being hit by lightning. It was so great.
I mean, I think the scariest things for me have always been to deal with like wild animals, like wild pigs or hyenas, and
ooh,
you know, those kinds of things. In terms of like Halloween-y scary things, I think the freakiest like experience I've ever had with like, and I've avoided a lot of it. Like I've not really been into scary movies. I like scary video games, but not scary movies for whatever reason. Like I watched the Troll movies. Do you remember Troll?
Of course.
In the 80s?
Troll 2, isn't that like one of the most infamous bad movies of all time?
Yeah, so Troll 2 is the one that got me. Like Troll, the first Troll, I actually kind of liked and like sort of appreciated as kind of a...
Isn't that the little mushroom dude?
Fantasy movie without... It felt
it's like little mushroom guy.
Not necessarily scary. It was a weird movie.
It's kind of Goonies-ish. Like, isn't it like you're in an apartment complex?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Karate Kid. It's like how he meets Miyagi. Like he meets this lady who works, or like lives there, and like she's all into fantasy, and she teaches him about trolls and stuff. Yeah, it's been a long time. So
but Troll 2 had this weird thing where like they were like turning people into like green goo or something and eating them, and then and they left this message to the kid, and it was like, "Mom tastes good," and it was like, for some reason, as dumb as that movie was, it like hit me with like the reality of what that situation would be like, and it was just horrifying. It was absolutely horrifying to me.
I love it. Hopefully we can talk about more scary things. Oh no, speaking of the Chainsaw Man coming through the door. Here it comes. Zachary Walton. Hey Jones and Blood, since you asked for Halloween stuff, let's play to the audience. So Blood, let's talk horror game music. Every October, me and my friends play 1 or 2 horror-themed games. 1 or 2? There have been some stinkers, but I think we've lucked out more often than not. One of the biggest standouts has been Capcom's Clock Tower 3. I don't know what Clock Tower 3 means, because Clock Tower 1 was on the Famicom, Super Famicom, I think. Because we either didn't get it in the States or I totally missed it. Okay. And then then they released Clock Tower on the PlayStation, which I think was Clock Tower 2, but they just called it Clock Tower, which is why I think it only came out on the Famicom. But 3, I'm not up on 3. Not only is it a hilarious and fun horror game, it has some real great horror music inspired by film and early Resident Evil. The best tracks are obviously the boss music, especially the Scissor Twins. I'm not familiar with the Scissor Twins, so it's probably a game I have not played. The track samples the sound of scissors snipping as the underlying beat, and it's just delightful. Playing to Jones specifically, a real criminally underrated all-ages horror game is The Haunted Mansion on the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. It was released alongside the Eddie Murphy film, but is not based on it. It is not. It looks like very true to the ride. It's just a fun Luigi's Mansion clone with its own unique take on it, as you use a magic lantern to blast ghosts until you capture them. Speaking of the music, however, it's just atmospheric ambience until you pause the game. The game then plays a barbershop quartet rendition of Grim Grinning Ghosts. It's so rad. Finally, some quick-fire best of horror game soundtracks: Rule of Rose, Silent Hill 2 and 3, Resident Evil 2, Corpse Party, Shadow Hearts. Is Shadow Hearts a horror game? Is Rule of Rose a horror game? What's the wrestling game I'm thinking of that's Rose?
You're thinking Rumble Rose.
Rumble Rose. And the original Clock Tower on SNES. I guess it was on in America. So Jones and Blood, got any particular horror game soundtracks that resonate with you? Love and respect. BioShock, which I consider a horror game. There's scares in that game.
Well, the soundtrack in particular is very much of a horror soundtrack.
I remember, and I mentioned this before, I like to repeat myself, when we got the soundtrack, I think Ryan Stevens just came in and he's like, hey, soundtrack's on Predator if you want it, like on our shared drive. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just like grabbed it and like listened to it at work, and like that first track, I was like, I got like misty-eyed. I was like, oh my goodness, this is good stuff. So yeah, that probably stands out. And just Super Castlevania 4. Fighting monsters.
Well, they mentioned Silent Hill 2, which has got some really great stuff. Although I don't really know about it being calling it a horror music necessarily, but yeah, it's good music regardless. I like some of the I mean, I like the audio all around in Eternal Darkness, and some of the music there is pretty cool too.
Doom 3. Got some fun tracks. Some good, you'd think like the metal would take away some of the scary stuff. And I know there's a lot of people that don't find Doom 3 scary, but scared me quite a bit. Bard 91. Speaking of music, just one thing I wanted to say, which I know you've probably seen a lot of, but I feel it's worth repeating. Stop the alliances in the Hall of Greats. Thank you, Bard. Megan Leinart. Hello, Brandon and Bloodworth. So this month was pretty uneventful regarding my life, but I've had an amazing gaming experience in the month of September and just wanted to gush about it. I recently played Life is Strange Episode 1. It took me a full 4 hours to complete, and I was blown away on how good it was.
Was that Life is Strange or Life is Strange 2?
Life is Strange 2, Episode 1. Did I say Life is Strange Episode 1?
Yeah.
Sorry. Life is Strange 2, Episode 1. Like many, I went in pretty excited but skeptical. I knew I would overall like the game, but was pretty nervous about traveling to multiple places and not having that huge of a connection to the two brothers. I was fine with letting Max and Chloe go, but I felt it was going to be tough not to think about them the whole time I was playing this. But by the opening credits, I was so on board and practically didn't even think about Max and Chloe, which is a complete testament to Don't Nod and their understanding of what makes characters interesting and believable. The dialogue is way more realistic and better written than the original game. I really love the voice acting, especially the two brothers in the game. The voice work for both of them is so sincere. They are very quiet characters, which makes them feel more grounded in the narrative. It's very fresh. It's a very fresh and different take from the brash and angsty characters from the original game. The lip sync and overall look of the game is a huge step up from the original as well. The first episode takes place in October, so the color palette is a soft blend of reds, oranges, yellows, greens, and grays. There's a nice warm glow from the sun, bigger, more open areas with plenty of detail, the textures are more prominent, and the soft, beautiful soundtrack brings the entire thing together in a visually striking package. Overall, this episode took my breath away by the end. It took its time, and I loved everything about it. If people want to know your opinions on Episode 1 of Life is Strange 2, what can they do? These people have...
Well,
no, they're on Twitch. No,
well, the people that wrote in will be able to have access. Yeah, but patreon.com/GCLIs for $1 a month. Yeah, you can get access to our spoiler modes, which will probably go up tomorrow.
Okay. It's sitting on my laptop over there, so
yeah,
I have the power. Yeah. No, yeah. It's actually all set up. I just gotta. I like to put like a little music or trailer at the end. So I just gotta get a trailer for it to put a little B-roll at the end. I love Sean and Daniel, and I can't wait to see where they go next. If the rest of this season is as good as this first episode, it's a top contender for my goatee. Well, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for another great month of stellar content. I hope you have an awesome Halloween. I can't wait to see what costumes you guys have planned. Do you know your costume for October?
No,
I don't either.
No. I've had one that I've wanted to do for the past couple of years, but I need to get it like farther ahead.
I've been focusing on putting another costume together for something that's happening. So yeah, I gotta get on it. I do have an idea. I just don't know how hard it's gonna be. It seems like an easy costume, at least something that I can like take a swing at. And if I'm not if I don't nail it, you know, you'll at least look at me and be like, okay, I see what Jones is doing. Yeah, so we'll see if we can put that together. Ron Payne. I typed this up. A lot of people talk about soundtracks. I love it. A lot of game and music discussions going on. Ron Payne. I typed this up last month, which I could have gotten it while. I wish I could have gotten it in while Ian was on the show. Again, apologies for missed comments and deleted stuff, missing comments on Patreon. No one normally responds to my Twitter posts, so I delete them after a day or two if they get no response because they are reminders that at nearly 50 years old, I still just don't fit in anywhere. Ron!
Whoa.
A month ago, Ian took the time to answer my questions about software and gear. Because of Ian's response, I was able to work on a few projects during a hard time. I made a Dead Cells review. It came out pretty good. I recorded a lot of game footage, and I'm working on my own retrospective about games that have influenced my life.
Wow.
I have plans to start a podcast about games, including board, console, PC, and tabletop. I also got to talk to Yoann Lawlin for permission to use his Dead Cells music. Yoann Lawlin? Yoann? Dead Cells? Good soundtrack? Do you know?
I haven't heard it.
Yoann Lawlin. He seems interesting. None of that would have happened if Ian hadn't talked to me. My family has had a hard time for the past 10 years. 2 different jobs of 10 years and 7 years closed their doors. 2 different jobs of 10 years and 7 years closed their doors with no notice. That was over 700 people that lost their jobs. My dad turned 69 this year. He was suffering from early dementia and Parkinson's during the last 10 years. Doctors expected him to live for a long time. He was very strong. I wasn't prepared for my dad's death last week. I'm sorry, Ron.
Wow.
Because I had time with some editing software, I was able to create a tribute for my dad at his funeral. Thank you, Ian. Speaking from experience, that is very, very hard to do, to produce a video. I mean, it's if you've been to memorial services, if you've been to funerals, I'm sure you're familiar with that. Even like a slide, even like some people will get images together and they'll do that stuff. I had a family friend, one of my mom's friends passed, and we went there, hadn't seen the family in a long time, and we helped them put the video together, and we're just like, just buckets, you know, just kind of like, you just have to take a break because you'll just lose it for a little bit. So yeah, sympathies for trying to put that together. Thank you. Ian didn't know I was going through an emotional time and a lot of stress for the past 10 years, and he didn't know I needed a friendly voice. Even I didn't realize at the time how much I really needed a friendly voice, or just someone to acknowledge I still existed. Sometimes we find ourselves alone in the dark. A friendly voice is a glimmer of light that keeps us going. Ian's response that day provided me with what I needed to stay busy and not fall into depression. It led me to be able to create something for my father that he would have been proud of and that honored his memory, something that everyone we know will always remember. Thank you, Ian, more than I can express. My dad was Ronald Payne. He served his country during a terrible war and was poisoned with Agent Orange, and he suffered for a long time. But even at the very end, he still smiled. He played guitar and sang. He wrote in his journals how music was the way to bring peace, and that war would never be the answer. Before his mind left him, he spent time writing music, poetry, and writing and directing Christmas plays. He always wanted to work theater productions or movies, but it just wasn't meant to be. He was a warrior poet. Through his actions, he taught me the meaning of both love and respect.
Wow.
Cheers to you, Ron. I'm sorry that happened to you, Ron. I'm sorry that you could not get that into Ian while he was on the show. I did pass your comment on to Ian through Slack, so he does see this, and maybe he'll be reaching out to you. But I mean, there's a lot of things to touch on here, but I mean, one thing that I really like and why we always try to put our best foot forward is you never know when people ask us questions, what frame of mind they're in, what's going on in their lives.
Yeah.
If through anything, through subs or just calling on comments in chat or comments on Cup of Jones or comments in the showcase, if anything that we can do to make people be like, hey, they're reading my thing, they're talking about my life, and other people are being. I mean, Ron, hopefully you can see the Twitch archive. You can see Twitch is giving you a lot of love right now. So this is the place to do that. Oh, my dad also has Parkinson's. This is very emotional. Okay. A lot to go through. Kyle Lee. Hi there, Jones and Blood. Boy, do I have a month full of fun for this showcase. First off, to continue from last month, I finished Mass Effect Andromeda, and as promised, I've got thoughts, though not the full thesis I brought up before. As I was going through the game initially, I was lacking a drive to keep pushing. There wasn't anything that really motivated you to pursue the main story, so I focused on getting all planets up to 100% sustainability. The problem with that is the game was pretty much only busy work, with minimal story tying everything in. And you can chime in on this anytime you want. 100%ing every planet. How crazy does that sound?
I feel like I might have done it. I can't remember for sure.
This was compacted by the fact that you got your whole team so early, complete with the trophy, which told you this is your crew, get used to it. Compared to previous Mass Effect games, this robbed the game of a lot of forward momentum, making it hard to quit that first time around. However, this changed once I finally started doing the loyalty missions, where I finally got to get a hint of these characters and their story. Earlier in the series, loyalty missions were intended to get you even more connected to these characters that you've met along the way, slowly teasing out backstory while making you care about them. Andromeda hides these missions, which features the real meat of the story, without anyone telling you, hey, you should be doing these things as you go along. Just gonna take a break.
Yeah.
Real quick. Before Chainsaw Man comes in. It does seem appropriate this month, more than any month. Another case for making Showcase another day than Thursdays. I just don't think I could get people on a Monday or a Friday.
No.
You think? Can I get someone on a Friday? Would you show up for Showcase on a Friday, Blood?
I don't know why not.
Well, of course you're saying that because you're live. This left me with the most interesting stories of the game at the very end, which was satisfying and frustrating at the same time. I couldn't help but get annoyed that there wasn't the charm I found in these missions throughout the rest of the game. In my mind, this comes down to one big problem, which harms the game as a whole. It is way too big without enough interesting things to do to facilitate the huge size. This results in 70 hours worth of busy work tying together the 10 to 20 hours of fun story. It felt like a call from on high to just make everything bigger, even though it didn't need it. With that said, I did enjoy those loyalty missions enough to actually like the game, but the number of glitches and near game-breaking bugs I ran into made sure I had to work for it. Since I used so much of my time this week to talk about that, I'll be brief with the rest of the entry. Coming straight off of Andromeda, it was time for Spider-Man. As expected, it was a game of my dreams, with the opening, as soon as you take control, bringing tears to my eyes. Inspired by the work that Jones and Bossman did, I got the Platinum Trophy, my first ever, in 4 days. I'm already 70% through my second run. Absolutely perfect, and without a doubt, my game of the year. Next month will be big as I play through Red Dead 2, Yakuza 0, and WWE 2K19. Love and respect, Kyle Goldilocks Lee. Yeah, I'm waiting. I don't think they announced it, but I don't think they've released it yet, the New Game Plus. So tempted to just
for
start Spider-Man with all those abilities.
Oh, it sounded like the one they did for God of War was really good.
And we got DLC coming in like 3 weeks.
Wow.
It's right around time Red Dead comes out. Samuel Cardwell. Hello, Jones and Blood. The downfall of Telltale was a bit of an emotional moment for me. I haven't played too many of their post-Walking Dead games. The only one I played all the way through is Tales from the Borderlands. But I've been with Telltale since the beginning. I am an enormous fan of the old LucasArts adventures. Telltale bringing back Sam & Max was like my Shenmue 3, a moment of pure joy at the unexpected return of a beloved franchise. This got me thinking, which LucasArts game would I pitch for Hall of Greats? I can narrow it down to the following short list: Maniac Mansion, Monkey Island 1, 2, and 3, Sam & Max Hit the Road, Day of the Tentacle, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, and Grim Fandango. Each of these, to me, is one of the greats, but to have a chance of winning, I think a game needs to be two things. 1, iconic, 2, playable. Iconic is obviously subjective, but as an example, I would say that GoldenEye has an iconic status, which Perfect Dark doesn't. Sure. On these grounds, I would rule out Fate of Atlantis, as I think some would unjustly write it off as a licensed game. I would rule out Monkey Island 2 and 3. Oh, 2's my favorite. Even though most critics see 2 as the best in the series. And I would also rule out Sam & Max and Day of the Tentacle. They feel like perfectly formed iterations rather than genre-defining games. That leaves playability, or the question of whether a game holds up. I'm going to knock off Maniac Mansion straight away.
Oh.
It was the first true LucasArts adventure, and it deserves enormous respect. But I never finished it. Why? Get ready. Buckle up. Because it's obtuse, it's ugly to look at, and it kills you when you make mistakes. I love that it kills you when you make mistakes.
Yeah.
Those deaths are the best.
I don't know about the ugly to look at
I
business,
remember when I first played Maniac Mansion, was talking to friends, and I was like upset that I'd missed deaths. They were like, oh, did you die this way? You can do this fun thing. Heartbreakingly, I'm ruling out Grim Fandango as well. I think that game has the best world, the best characters, and the best story of any LucasArts game. The story is very, very good. Perhaps of any game, full stop. But its attempt to translate the old formula into 3D is imperfect. You spend a lot of time awkwardly circling around, hoping that Manny looks at what you want him to look at. As a result, the game feels clunky and slightly dated, where the earlier 2D games are essentially timeless. So that leaves The Secret of Monkey Island. Not my favorite, and not even the best in the series, but it's the game that defined the genre. It perfected the SCUM interface, which Maniac Mansion had invented. It introduced the key LucasArts feature of never letting the player die or enter a fail state. It remains genuinely funny and charming, and it's still every bit as enjoyable to play as it ever was, with or without 2009's outstanding special edition. I'd love to see any of these games get a nomination for Hall of Greats, or even a stream. Jones, what about a Fate of Atlantis stream? Love and respect, Samuel. Yeah. Last Crusade too. I mean, I did Last Crusade first and then did Fate of Atlantis. I think that's why I was so excited about Fate of Atlantis, was it was like a new indie thing, like an Indiana Jones game based on nothing, like based on just some crazy idea that they came up with. It wasn't a book that anyone had written. It was just like their own thing. Monkey Island, any history there?
I haven't got to play them, no.
I think the thing that's great, like Maniac Mansion is funny, but it's funny in like a really goofball video game way, where Monkey Island is like Terry Pratchett, Douglas Adams. You know, it's like this really kind of subtle. Like, I think a lot of those jokes really kind of flew over my head as a kid. Yeah. There's a lot of kind of sexual innuendo and stuff that they're just like,
Maniac Mansion as well. There's a lot of stuff that, like, going back to the I was like, whoa. Like, Edna is like, I'm going to tie you to my bed. I'm like, what? I didn't catch that before.
And just it's pirates, and I just love Guybrush as a lead. I know it wouldn't make a lot of money. I know it's a bad idea to license it, but I would love a Monkey Island animated feature. I think would be really great. You could just like make fun of the series, bring all the best ideas together, and I would love that. I think that would be really great. It would be fun to write that. Eli N. Peters. Hey, Jonesy. Hey, Blood. I reached 999 moons in Super Mario Odyssey.
Congratulations. Sticking with that. Wow.
Very impressive. Not as impressive as watching all of One Piece, but still very, very impressive. You gotta like commit to that. Yeah. You gotta. That's really gotta brew something inside.
I had Mario Odyssey in my Switch for a while. I'd pick it up and go back and grab some extra moons, and figured maybe at some point. But especially the ones that you have to buy, collecting all those coins constantly. Yeah.
I think that's like the best compliment I can give Odyssey is I got credits on Odyssey and I'm like, oh, I'm done? Oh, thank goodness I'm done. It's like, there's so many, I mean, last year, there's so many good games. It's like, I got to move on to something else and play something else. And I kept going. You know, it's like, I got to the next world and it's like, okay, well, I'll run around this world a little bit. And then, like, you know, bump into Peach and just like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go back to this level. And it just kept, like, you know, the carrot just kept dangling me through that game. I kept going and going. Very far from 999. Did Damiani get 999?
I doubt it.
I know Kyle didn't. Have none of the allies got 999?
Probably not.
Brutal. Tim Strothman. Hey, Brandon. Hey, Blood. I want to exploit the situation that the one and only Daniel Bloodworth is sitting on the couch this month, or the desk.
Yeah, I'm definitely not on the couch.
Instead of telling a gaming-related story about last month, I want to ask 2 questions that are specifically directed at him. Number 1. In the last Frame Trap, you, Bloodworth, mentioned that you would not recommend a completionist run of The Witcher 3. Could you elaborate on why you think this was a bad idea? This is a bad idea.
There are 2 big reasons. Number 1, getting all the sunken treasure chests around Skellige is just awful.
I think you gotta get the little boat around. Like, can things attack you while you're in the boat?
Yeah, and like just the mechanics of doing it is kind of clunky, and I think there's a good reason that Skellige gave you more fast travel options right off the bat. And then I think number 2, the leveling system does not seem to account for you doing a completionist run.
Oh, okay.
Like the way that you progress and level up, it just doesn't. It really doesn't make a lot of sense toward like, because you get the majority of your experience from completing side quests. So if you go around and do all of the side quests, then you're over leveled all the time. And so they patched it and they added some things to where enemies can scale with you and that kind of thing.
I love being over leveled.
But it was just one of those weird.
Go kill that monster.
It was one of those weird things, and I think that there is a sense that even though those side quests are way better than just 90% of RPGs, there are, if you try to do all of them rather than just like a couple as you're going here and there, then there are a couple of things that feel a little repetitive, a little like, okay, I've done this similar scenario to this before, and then I think and then there's like a lot of the like just kind of like open world tasks like clearing monster nests and stuff like that. There's a lot of that stuff that I just don't really feel like is intended for you to do all of them. I think it's like you're going by to clear out a monster nest, take care of it, move on.
Yes.
So
when I first started to explore that map, because I was like falling hard for that game, I'm like, this game is amazing, and I just saw all these little dots like sprinkle as I was like traveling throughout the map, these little markers popping up, and I'm like, I'm gonna do all of this.
Yeah, even like the Witcher gear quests.
I just got
like
beat
those
down.
Witcher gear quests. Like they're really,
so huge.
They have some interesting backstories that you learn.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and that is kind of the weird thing
I
because
missed
like there
I
are
never
definitely
got that armor.
There are definitely like cool stories that I missed my first time around, that when I went back and I did a completion, it's like, oh wow, that was really cool that I missed that.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I think with any game that's big, it just becomes exhausting at a certain point.
Yeah. Which is potentially a good thing, because Some of these games are just absolutely massive now. Number 2. It has been many years since I played a racing game extensively. I think the last racing game I remember finishing is Need for Speed Underground 2. Every once in a while I get the urge to start a more recent racing game, but every game that seems interesting fails in at least one of the following conditions. It has to be a PC game, there has to be a storyline and or an upgrade system that encourages me to continue playing, and the focus on skillful driving shouldn't be too big. As I just said, I haven't touched a racing game in years. Do you have a recommendation? Am I just too critical? Thanks for answering my questions. I promise that I will have a real quote-unquote story for next month. Love and respect, Tim. So it's got to be on PC. It's got to have a storyline or an upgrade system, and it shouldn't focus too much on skillful stuff. Like have a difficulty but adjustable, so I can still get through it.
The story / upgrade system is probably the trickiest thing for me to think of exactly how that fits in.
The Crew 2 is the last big racing game I invested in, and that upgrade system is weird.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously I would recommend Forza Horizon 4, and I definitely think it's on PC, and it definitely gives you whatever leeway to take on challenge how you want.
What encourages you to keep playing Forza? Other than just you're having fun because you like that genre, but like something that, for me, I would imagine just discovering more of the world.
Yeah, discovery and exploration is definitely a thing. There are a couple, I think I can think of 3 of the branches of events where there is a little bit of a story to it. There's like a stunt car driver, one where you just keep going back to this guy and he has you doing different stunts. There's a guy that... the setup is a little weird, so I'm a little confused as to like exactly like what the scenario is supposed to be. But he has like a rental shop for the world's fastest sports cars, and I think you're either delivering them to the clients or you're just going out for a test ride. It's like, hey, that guy's gonna take out this car. He's running this car. Do you want to go and go for a run first? But it's a little. I'm a little confused. It's like, wait, we're running this business, but then I'm paying to rent the car. I don't... What exactly is happening here? And then there's the one Halo Showcase event, which is really fun.
Yeah, you're talking about that.
And then there's...
Halo meaning Xbox Halo.
Yeah.
Master Chief
and
Halo.
then there's this... in terms of, like, the character of the storyline, it's not that great, but it's just fun to see them put all this love into going back and, revisiting like all the classic, like a bunch of classic cars from various video games.
Neat.
So they've got like Outrun and Smuggler's Run and Crazy Taxi represented.
Smuggler's Run?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a 10-chapter thing where they're really quick events, but it's like, hey, let's just like look back on the history of cars and games.
Rockstar had a GTA Online event called Smuggler's Run, and I'm like, don't you do this to me, Rockstar. don't you tease. We have a tribal...
Distance has a story mode. I've been meaning to check out the final Distance. Like, it's done.
That's that big, crazy neon super fast game, right? Like, yeah.
But it was like one of these things where I just felt like it came out of nowhere. The game's it's out now. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Get on it, Blood. Ian Alexander, the other day I logged onto Steam and was greeted with one of its pop-up ads, which stated, Star Control Origins now available. My reaction was... What was the reaction?
What? Do you mind if I research break real quick?
Oh, go for it.
Okay.
I hadn't realized that a sequel to one of my favorite games of all time, Star Control 2, was even being worked on, and there it was. In this day and age, this pretty much never happens, right? How did I not know about this? I quickly ran to Twitter to make sure Hogue Law was aware of this as well, since he's one of the few Star Control 2 fans I know of. Yup, he knew. Anyway, I'm 23 hours in now, and I've been totally sidetracked from finishing Spider Whoever. This game is a ton of fun. If I were to pitch Star Control, I'd say it's a space exploration RPG, which feels like a precursor to something like Mass Effect. But if most of the aliens were like the Elcor and the Hanar. The writing... I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I gotta catch up on Mass Effect. The writing often makes me think of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, to mention Douglas Adams for the second time in the showcase. Star Control Origins doesn't do a ton to expand on the functionality of the original game. I could see some people feeling it's derivative of Star Control 2, but he says SC2 and he does 2 with the Roman numeral 2, and I just see StarCraft 2 every time I look at that. But I'm still enjoying the nostalgia of exploring the galaxy, gathering resources, talking to weird aliens, and solving problems through the words and/or 90s arcade space battles. It's definitely got the budget of an indie game, but for a sequel to a 1992 game like this, it feels fine. Anyway, just wanted to share my excitement for this weird game and encourage anyone who feels intrigued to check it out. Ian at Alexander_arts. Yes, well, we were just talking about this. I mean, like, Blood was talking about how Distance just, like, crept up on him. Like, there's a lot of games. Somebody posted on Twitter, and I thought it was hilarious. It was, like, an article from, like, the 80s. And they were talking about, like, the Atari versus the Intellivision versus ColecoVision versus, like, all of those early consoles. And they were like, man, there's just too many games. It's like, I was like, in, like, 1984. Like, dude, get ready. Like, wait till 30 years from now when you, like, look at your backlog. And not only are there a lot of games, but, like, even games back in the day, they were just, like, 4 or 5 hour experiences are now 20, 30 hour experiences. And so, that's why I try not to, like, run through my spam too quickly whenever I check my email. Not spam, but, like, when I just will get random, emails, marketing emails from PR people. I always try to at least, like, open them and read a little bit just to be like, okay, put that game in my brain so that I know it exists. If I see somebody on social media that's excited about something, I gotta remember that exists. And so I try to have a reference on how much fun people are having with games that I'm not necessarily involved in, because I hate that feeling. I hate to be surprised with games that I haven't heard about, and especially when something launches and you're just like, wait a minute, or when a teaser will come out or a trailer and I'm like, wow, that looks really exciting, and then by the time I'm going to try to catch up this month with the zombie DLC for Far Cry 5. I knew it was coming. I probably should have guessed when it was coming out, based off of the release dates of the other 2 expansions, but I totally missed that, so I got to go back and play that because I played the other 2 DLCs. But yes, we have been in that situation before. We all have, and I really appreciate, Ian, you letting us know what you think of Star Control Origins. I'm curious if it's a prequel. It says Origins.
Sounds like a prequel.
Other than Distance, what's a game that, like, crept up on you recently where you're just like, wait, what? Where you, like, heard about it and, like, I didn't hear about this game, or I saw the teaser but didn't know it actually came out or was playable.
I don't know about necessarily that, but yeah, I feel like it definitely happens with racing games. Like, it happened with Dirt Rally, where it was like, this isn't an early access today. And it's like, and now today it's released. And I'm like, okay.
Was that the same racing game publisher that you said came out with, like, 4 games in a month or something?
No. That's Milestone that you're thinking. Oh, nice. Yeah. Dirt's from Codemasters.
I don't know if this is FS Now Zombie or F Snow Zombie, but there we are. Hello, Brandon and Blood. I've been trying to post something for the community showcase for a while, but I never really have anything to say, or time sneaks up on me. And I can't send a drawing, but earlier this month, I wanted to share a feeling with y'all that I haven't felt in a while, and I don't know how many people get this. Excuse me. I call it toxic hype. A hype so big, intense, and vicious that straight up poisons your excitement for anything else, to the point where you don't even feel like playing any other game. For example, the whole back half of September after I finished Spider-Man. I just wanted to play AC Odyssey. I don't know why, since I'm not the biggest fan of Origins, and I know it at least is going to be very similar gameplay-wise, judging by the E3 demo, but I guess the premise, my favorite Pantheon, my favorite conflict in ancient Greece, and the fact that it's just not a desert anymore. I can appreciate that it was a very pretty desert, I just don't like deserts. Got me so excited that when I tried to boot up other games, like for example Dragon Quest, I just sighed, played for 20 minutes, and stopped because I didn't want to play this at that moment. I just wanted to play a game that doesn't exist. By the time you read this, I will probably already have 10 to 15 hours in this game and have my savage hype satiated enough to play something else. But has this ever happened to you? Love your content. Hope you have a great day. I'll tell you what. I love October. It's my favorite month. Halloween is my favorite holiday. I love that as a culture, we celebrate spookiness. Like, we were like, okay, time to put on blood masks, and just like, what? It's just so weird. It's like, time to paint blood on things, time to put the skeleton in front of the house. Like, it's just so bizarre, and I love it. I love that everybody gets into it. I love that there's...
Can confirm 20 hours in now.
Nice. Yeah, exactly 20 hours. 10 to 15. Oh, he's doing better than he thought he did. But I'm normally so into it, and all I'm thinking about is cowboys. All I'm thinking about is the Old West. All I'm thinking about is gunslinging and hunting animals, and it's killing me. You know, like it's like thematically, it's going to be really weird playing that game smack dab in the middle of October, and yeah, so that's kind of pulling me out of that now. I don't know if that's specifically what you're talking about, but my anticipation for Spider-Man got dangerous. Got to a point where I was like itching for that game. I'm like, whoa, like I can just calm down and things will just happen when they happen. I think I'm actually, as far as raw anticipation, was freaking out more about Spider-Man than, well, at the same time, I played Spider-Man 2 on PS2, on PS3 really, but I was just like, I can't take it. I gotta pop this in and swing around the city. And I am playing Red Dead Redemption now, so I'm probably equally anticipated, but...
You're playing the original Red Dead Redemption, just so people are aware. Yeah, no. But not 2 yet.
I wouldn't be here if I had to go for Red Dead Redemption. I would be out. Be like, cancel showcase this month.
Oh, no. I can't remember a specific instance. I know it's definitely happened of that happening with something I was waiting for. But definitely earlier this year when I was working on The Crew 2, and I'm like, I just want to go back to Onrush right now. and I literally was like, I would like put my time in The Crew 2, and then like, all right, Onrush, let's do this before bed.
Nice.
So
cleanse the palate.
Another hour or 2 of that.
Small Leviathan, hello Brandon, and hello Blood. I missed out on the previous community showcase due to some financial issues, and I just want to say it's good to be back. Thank you, Small Leviathan, thank you. I've been having to deal with a lot of stress over the last couple of months, and getting to partake in the community showcase has been sort of a normalizing factor in my life, so I just want to say thanks for you being there and listening to me. Thank you for supporting us, Small Leviathan. I've actually got a fair amount of stuff to talk about this time around, so I'll start off with something I was looking forward to for a long time, Dead Cells. I was interested in this game when it came to Steam Early Access, but I chose to wait for the Switch port, and I've been enjoying it a lot. The presentation is slick, and the combat is fluid and responsive, giving the game a great feel as you move rapidly from foe to foe. My only complaint, really, is that the game feels somewhat brief, with only 4 bosses in total, one of which you can only face, out of which you can only face 3 in a single run. I feel like Dead Cells could have done with a bit more meat to it, and I'm hoping this it'll get some kind of expansion in the future, or sequel only after a year or 2. Don't get me wrong though, what is there is fantastic. Dead Cells is fascinating for me because it's one of the few games I can remember that I knew about it and was curious about it, but I was really turned on to it because of a GIF. Somebody just posted a GIF of like the just whip animation that he did, and I was like, "That looks amazing! Like that animation looks so good." And I watched that GIF loop like 40 times. I was like, I think I might play this. The second thing I want to talk about is Iconoclasts, which I'm a bit more mixed on. Anything you want to say for Dead Cells before we move on?
No, I haven't played either one of these. I was earlier in the year. I was going to try to check out Iconoclast, and I didn't get around to it.
Well, Blood, it has a lot of great, really engaging world building and a lot of unique platforming mechanics, but the game starts to feel like a slog toward the end, and the core cast outside of the protagonist are also hostile to each other that it feels hard to care, and it ends up making the central antagonist, Agent Black, seem like the most sympathetic of the bunch. I'd still recommend Iconoclasts despite my gripes, but let's just say I won't blame you if you end up not finishing it. I also want to mention real quick that I got back to, and have been enjoying, Fallout 4. I don't have a lot to say about it, but running around the Commonwealth as a cool revolver-toting gunslinger is a lot of fun. I'll finish this post by recommending my personal favorite horror game, fitting for the Halloween season, Anatomy. All caps, Anatomy. It's a very simple game about exploring a dark house, collecting cassette tapes to bring to a tape recorder. This might sound boring, but Anatomy carries itself with its strong atmosphere, great sound design, and completely novel theming. It'll probably only take you around 10 to 15 minutes to finish, but every new playthrough will have a new ending if you can keep going, so it's worth investing at least an hour in this little horror piece. I can't promise you'll like Anatomy, but I can promise you've never played anything like it. Anatomy also has my personal favorite video game tagline ever. Every house is haunted. Love and respect, Small Leviathan.
Yeah, what you talk about games that you missed and didn't know are out there. Like, I think a lot of horror games, like those press releases that come through, and hey, here's our horror game.
Indie games, even like Layers of Fear, I played, but didn't. I played the demo, and I never played the actual full game. And if I wasn't thinking about cowboys all the time, maybe I'd play more horror games this month. Outcast Rider, love recommendations, even if we have very little to say on them. Love people bringing up cool games. Love stuff like Fallout 4, Deep Cut. You play a lot of Fallout.
I played exhaustively Fallout 3. I really didn't get that far into 4.
And you did all the DLC too.
For 3, yeah.
That was the game trailers days. I remember like a new expanded DLC would come out, and you're just like, it's just fun. Like, oh, new. It was fun following your journey because there were like 10 DLCs to that. No, I'm thinking Borderlands had just like a crazy amount.
Yeah.
Borderlands had like 10 of them, right?
Yeah. Fallout had 4 or 5, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that the one that had the UFO? Remember there was one at
There's
the end.
a cool UFO one, yeah.
Like, they just pick you up and... Outcast Rider. Good day to you, Jones and Bloodworth. Sorry for missing last month's community showcase. Yeah, what the hell, man? Let's talk about that. Just kidding. But I'm glad to be a part of the conversation with so many incredible people. Just wanted to say that I saw that big thumbs up from Jones at the thought of continuing my rant about Fire Emblem Conquest's story, so I may decide to pick that up next month, but this month I wanted to be a little more positive. Saving up for a house has led me to purchasing less games this year, but that hasn't prevented me from stumbling across some absolute gems of games. One of those is Terraria. I haven't played a building game of any sort since Caesar 3 in the early 2000s. Caesar 3? Whoa. That's a new one on me. Caesar 3?
Don't know that well.
All right. So Terraria was an absolute blast of fresh air. I can honestly say I have never spent so much time doing wiki research on a game, trying to find out how I can do everything the game allows you to do. It has been an incredible and relaxing experience. In fact, it's my end of the day chill game. I hope everyone gets a chance to play a game where your imagination is pretty much your only limit. Have a great October, allies. Love and respect. Terraria. Did you play it at all?
It's one of those games where I think I got it and I tried to like check it out real quick before bed or something, and I was not in the right space. My head was not in the right space for it, and I was just sort of impatient and like and then I just never got around to it.
There's so many games like that. It reminds me also of like Metal Gear Survive, which I know is not great, but I was tempted like to get into Ark, which has always eluded me. Ark like seems really like a fun game to jump into. It's like my jam, just like survival and building and co-op and but I played Minecraft and then got out of it and then got back into Minecraft and then got out of it and then got back in, back out, back in again, then back out, and then Terraria came out and I was like, I can't. Like I just exhausted this type of game for so long, even though it's a totally different style.
You know what's
totally
really fun?
Gameplay.
And I don't know why this strikes me as weird, but I think maybe it's because it feels like we didn't have this in the past. But you know, like I was saying, how strange and kind of fun it is that like Forza has these events where they like specifically reference other video games that are not Microsoft games. Life is Strange 2, it's like talking about Minecraft. Like, you know, like you've got a 9-year-old kid, he's gonna talk about Minecraft.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to like to see that just openly there in the script.
Yeah, a lot of games usually just like make up a game or just like have some weird fake system.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that's made up, you know, like all of the toys and cereals and everything else. And like, no, we're just gonna talk about Minecraft.
I really like when someone will build a fake gaming handheld console for like a movie. Yeah, it'll be like a road trip or something, and the kid will.
Well,
be in
yeah,
the back,
that's the thing
like,
too.
What the heck is that?
They play Minecraft on the Playbox.
Thank you, Outcast Rider. Christopher Fields with our final comment, and then we will move on to drawings. Greetings, Bloodworth and Jones. With another community showcase comes another game review. I always try to keep my submissions themed somewhat revolved around our guest ally, but for Bloodworth, I'm going to do something just a bit different. I haven't bought a game I necessarily associate with Mr. Daniel Bloodworth, but a game that I bought because of his recommendation.
Oh, okay.
Hint for Blood, it was a game he reviewed in early April. You were looking.
What? Okay.
Did you see it? You didn't see it?
No.
What did you review in early April?
I mean, I'm thinking Detroit, but maybe that's too early.
It's very short.
Very short.
Very short. Very short. A matter of seconds, you could say.
Oh, minute. Okay, got it. Yeah.
That's right, it was Minute. Before April this year, I had never even heard about it before. Although one frame trap later, I was curious enough to try it out. My first takeaway is how much fun exploring can be when a limitation was set upon me. I really had to change my mindset for this game. Every time I went to a new screen, I saw all the options that I had to proceed. Yet, the most I could ever do was just go down whatever my impulses led first and commit to it. After I used up all my time, that's when I would take a moment to reevaluate what I saw during that round, and then picture where I want to head next. But my most pressing concern coming into the game was if my lives were going to be in vain. Thankfully, it wasn't a problem I ran into. Despite the game being a series of logic puzzles at every screen, most of them weren't too difficult for me to overcome. Even if I couldn't figure out the puzzle in one life, sometimes the walking back while being away for a moment helped me put in the right perspective when I eventually got back. Sometimes the most satisfying moments were when I was just wandering around and suddenly I had the aha moment for a puzzle I encountered a couple of lives ago and had to give up on at the time. It also helps that the rewards were exciting as well. I truly didn't know what to expect whenever I found something new. Being able to make the connection between a new discovery and a previously met NPC with an unfillable side quest at the time was euphoric. Even the less interesting rewards, like an extra heart or coins, still had tangible benefits. Going to the southern island was one of my favorite discoveries, and the reward that unlocks for getting there was especially gratifying, considering I had to complete a multitude of tasks to get there. It may not be a Monster Hunter or Dragon Quest, but Minute is still one of my games of the year. It was a game I was happy to jump back into after playing it for the first time. Thank you, Bloodworth, for the recommendation back in April. And to all the allies who have not tried this game, I pass this recommendation on to you now. It's not a long game, but it's surprising how much can be taken away from it. It's on Switch too, if that helps. Love and respect, Chris the Fields. Fun moment. Don't want to throw her under a bus. I'm not saying this because I think it's bad. It just warms my heart. It cracks me up. Amanda is such a tough customer when it comes to games.
Yeah.
And she was sick. I mentioned this because she was turned off by some other RPG. She was like, nah. But we were going through the Switch store, and I was like, you might like this, you might like this. And she would just would see a screenshot and a trailer, and I was like, oh, I'm like, there's Minute, and she saw the logo and saw the characters, and I'm like, you have to play through in 60-second bursts. And she's like, she likes Don't Starve, and some other stuff. I'm like, you might like this. We're gonna have to go away from your camp and try things. And I booted up, and she saw it was black and white and very old school, and she was like, next. Like, okay. But she knows what she likes. But maybe, yeah, if you're particular that way, maybe take a look at Minute. Watch the trailer before you check it out. All right. Time to shrink. Here we go, Blood. Woo! Now we're going to look at some art. First coming up from Sarah Imshog, a.k.a. Zephyrmoon. Greeting Jones and Bloodworth. Zephyrmoon here. As of the recording of the showcase, it is day 4 of Inktober, and I am full steam ahead. My preparations for this busy month have paid off, and I can breathe easy in between all the other stuff I have going. This year, I have taken suggestions from this wonderful community, as well as from the 8 of you. Don is not excluded, but I do have something planned for him. Boy, I forget what I mentioned. I forget what I told her to draw. I pick sketches at random per day so anything can pop up. The first was one of my own prompts and a good way to start getting into the groove and quickly discovering the dying red marker. But you know him, you love him. Yay!
Oh, nice.
The second was one suggested by Bloodworth during the Q&A a couple months back and is a complete coincidence that it popped up. Do you remember?
I think this might have come to me on Twitter. I think it's Storm.
Oh, yeah. I saw this on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was raining, and she's like, it's raining today. You're welcome. But I love that. I love the edge.
Yeah.
I love the classic costume.
I really like the face.
Yeah, her hair is really great. The eyes are really cool.
Yeah, actually, the hair is important because you need that to, communicate the wind. You know, the hair can't just be, neat or
right.
just take a simple shape or something. It's like, no, you got to have that hair messy. It's got to be all over the place.
Barry Bumfroyd says his comment was missed, and we had another one. Let me write it down while I'm going to Eric Jackson. It's missed. I'll check those before we wrap up. We'll do the lightning round at the end of stuff that we missed. Apologies. The last was suggested by Lotiaz in chat, and it really helped me in experimenting with skin textures that I'm probably going to do from now on. Thanks to everyone that sent me suggestions, and I hope that I met or will meet your expectations. Love and respect. Zephyrmoon. Kablam.
Oh, wow.
I love that. Is that a specific character? Or is that just, White Mage? You know?
No, isn't that Final Fantasy 9? Yeah.
Does she wear... I guess she does. Yeah, okay. What is her name?
Garnet.
Garnet. She has 2 names, though. Garnet's one, and does she have a nickname? She's like Princess something?
Oh, Dagger.
Dagger, right.
There we go.
I don't feel bad about missing that, though. because my first thought is that's white mage, you know. So like that's what's great about 9 is that representation of a lot of the old tropes of Final Fantasy, and these are beautiful. I love these. I really love the shading there, yeah, fun. Skin textures. It's not often you think about drawing skin. It's not something a lot of us have to deal with. Tyson Wynn. Hello, still learning code and pixel art, but I got a job. Nothing game development related, but there are too many games to buy in the coming months. I also platinumed both Dragon Quest XI and Spider-Man. Congrats on the Dragon Quest XI platinum.
Wow.
Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy was announced. While I can't see myself playing through them again, I'm glad everyone has the chance to experience it. That said, I think the original sprites are far more charming, and so I tried to recreate one using Bloodworth's likeness. I also would like to highlight something my partner has been working on. It's a music playlist with songs that chronologically match with story theme beats in tabletop escapades. Can't be played on Community Showcase, but if you want to listen to new music or experience the show in song, search for a playlist called Tabletop Escapades by Shelby Flanagan. And I have to go to a whole nother screen to do this because I couldn't download the GIF, but I can go here and I believe, there we go. Yeah. And you're going, you're going, me, ooh, me, ooh, ooh, me, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Wow.
You know, like you do. But I love it. I love the Easy Ally shirt.
Yeah.
I just love that. I love drawings of blood. There we go. Oh, I haven't done that yet. I should do that right now. Entertain chat while I do something for 5 seconds.
Hi, chat. How are you? Oh. Who is the puppeteer? I remember the moon, the Bear Moon King. Is that it? Moon Bear King. What is it? Do you remember? Something about moons and bears. Favorite type of race in Forza Horizon 4. I mean, it's definitely those. Yeah. The pandering, the old classic racing game representation's great. It's my favorite so far. But I definitely like dirt and cross country and all that fun stuff.
As of now, you can go and access the community comments, or the community showcase rather, post for the month of October. So if you loved that GIF and you want to share that with all your friends, you can go back and check that stuff. Because it is, again, $10 and above patrons at patreon.com/easyallies. But once we start the showcase, it is made public for everybody. So feel free to leave comments on there. They will not be included in the showcase because we're doing it now.
I did not get a Jones smoothie. I just brought a coffee when I came in.
Oh, nice. And there's just water in there.
Yeah.
Because we're out of water in the fridge. Ian and friends drank all the water. Okay, there we go. On to photographs. Doo-doo-doo. Yay. Christophe Fatui. Hello, Jones and Bloodworth. I am sorry for not being able to attend this live this time around, but I will be on a business trip, so I hope you are doing well and not getting overworked, and chat is having a good time too. Now for my showcase today. I would like to show off my newest add-on to my music collection. Here we go. Are you at the top there, Christophe? Maybe not. Where is Christophe Fatui? There you are. Yeah.
Ooh.
Octopath Traveler is, in my opinion, is one of the best score soundtracks of 2018. The artist that made the music has put a lot of effort into this, and you can hear, listening to it via the CDs and the subtle small background percussion, bass guitar, etc., that gives the song volume, which are really hard to do in the game. This is because of other sounds overlapping from menus, winds, etc., which takes a lot of these key things away, and as a music person myself, love to listen to. I highly recommend that if anyone likes the music from the game, to check it out.
Nice.
You get great value for buying it. 4 CDs, no LP from what I know, with 20 plus songs on each of them. I know a lot of people just go to YouTube and listen to it, but please remember the artist doesn't see the money from that. So if you like the music, buy it or listen to it over an official streaming service that pays the artist. Everyone should get paid for their work and effort that they have put into creating something. Have a great stream, guys, and see you all next week, maybe. Fatui. I love that people are paying us to show off their art for this. So the showcase is a bad example of that ethic, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious, is this available on the US side, or is this only Japanese import? Can't really tell.
But yeah, the music, I think the one thing where I noticed, like, man, the soundtrack is going above and beyond, really compared to 11. I thought the music on 11 was not great. It was not, just didn't sound
11,
that great. Dragon Quest.
Oh, sure.
None of it really, like...
Well, the weird thing, I think, though, is if you get the Dragon Quest soundtrack, the soundtrack itself is orchestrated. Like, you get the thing that you wish was in the game.
Well, it's like modded, I guess now. Like somebody released a
well, yeah. So that's what somebody has done. Is on the PC version you can do that.
But even it wasn't necessarily the composition of it. It was very repetitive. A lot of the towns had the same stuff. They reused a lot of the songs in cutscenes. Some of the fights that happened in cutscenes would just play the fighting music. And I'm like, come on, I've heard that song like 5,000 times. Every time, like there are towns, I noticed it because it's interesting when some of the towns share a theme. Just thematically, so like you get to the desert area and like the desert towns will all have like the desert theme of towns, but if you fast travel from one town to another, the song just keeps going. Okay. If you go to a new town that has that same song, so it'll register, oh, it's the same song, and it'll just keep playing that tune, which I thought was an interesting touch. But yeah, love not only talking about that stuff. Oh, and Bearded Scotsman, thank you for the sub. Moving on to Bearded Scotsman's comment. Hey allies, normally I write about my game progress, but not too much has changed this month. A little progress in God of War, World of Warcraft, and I started GTA Vice City going for the Platinum. Nice. Instead this month, I want to share pictures of where I now live. At the start of June, I moved to the Scottish countryside, and here are some pictures I've taken on my many walks. And there are many walks, because there are many pictures.
Nice.
Got his thumb in there for good measure. First shot is from a small rest area within 10 minutes walk from my house. The next 4 pictures are from a hill that starts within 5 minutes walk from our house, but to the area I reached with my wife and back was around 4 miles total.
Whoa, they're saying the skeleton crew at Telltale's been laid off now too?
Ugh.
Yikes.
All right, I won't go into too much detail. We're just hearing that from chat. But, oh, look at that. Nothing like being close to a body of water. It's just, the beauty. People are just going nuts about the wave physics in Odyssey. Apparently, a lot of people are just like,
yeah, I didn't really check that out. Like, it didn't stick to me when I played the preview, so I got to go back and take a look.
Oh, that looks like a good place to hike. These are good places to walk.
Yes.
Hooray for Scotland. Oh, we're on number 5. The final 2 are from another walk me and my wife have done twice now. It's just under 4 miles that loops around some country roads, past a castle. Sorry, no pictures of that. Come on! That is now a bed and breakfast and leads back to the main road to get our village again. Love and respect, Bearded Scotsman 86. Bearded Scotsman, I need pictures of this castle. I need to know if this castle is haunted. I implores you to take a picture of that castle. I love these 2 were tripping me out. I was like, is that the same picture? And then I'm like, wait, no. But you can go on a little journey. It's like, oh, it's like we're hiking and we're continuing to hike. Love that. Love getting visuals of where people live, especially people outside of the U.S. I would love going on a walk with you, Bearded Scotsman. That would be great.
That's why I drive in Forza. Yeah, there's a
nice,
pretty strong Scottish representation in Horizon 4.
The classiest hobo. I made a bunch of game clay stuff a few years ago that I was busy with work before I was busy with work all the time. My plan is to start submitting 1 a month. So here's my first, inspired by the menu in Majora's Mask. I love this.
Oh, cool.
How great is that?
So these are the sculptures?
Yeah.
Nice.
Sculpting game HUDs. How about that? You know it would be really, it would be a neat
the
structure.
Z and the R even, yeah.
Well, yeah, it would be a really interesting, because you're like, I feel like when you're in, I don't know if Ocarina of Time did this or if it was just Majora's Mask, but like you're in a cube, so like when you move the menu, you see it rotate. It'd be fun to have that cube, just actually as an object that you can kind of look inside and like see all the menus facing in on each other. Got another angle, but just love that. Love the detail there. A fun way to display a lot of little tiny things. And of course, like so many of those masks are bringing back memories. Been a while. Did you play Majora's Mask on 3DS?
Not the 3DS version, no.
I feel bad because one of my friend's kids comes up to me all the time whenever I see him because he's playing Majora's Mask on 3DS right now. Doesn't have a Switch yet, so he's like just making the most of his 3DS. And he came up to me at a social gathering and he's like, you play Majora's Mask? And I was like, yeah, I did back then. I really liked that game. He's like, okay, so I'm at this part right now. I don't know how to... I'm like, dude, I'm not. And again, his parents are like kind of restricting his internet use, and so like he can't just go to GameFAQs and log in and check out stuff. So like I feel bad, these poor kids with no internet. Jordan Kirk, in the Halloween spirit, I thought I would share a Two-Face costume I did a couple years back. I love this. Yeah.
Oh.
I just want to point out the details that I really like. The jaw drop on the left there is key. I don't know if you're just making that face or if you actually had some kind of a prosthetic or something that you would put in your mouth like to do that. Love that you did your hand points. I don't know where you get a suit like that. I mean, you got it like, where do you get a two-color suit? Right. Nobody makes two-color suits. Where do you get that? If my eyes do not deceive me, you got a contact in your left eye, which really, really makes it. And I'm a personal fan of the red Two-Face. There's some people like their purple Two-Faces, their green Two-Faces. You're a little purpley, but I love the actual like scar tissue look. I think that would be my Harvey. No, of course we have to say that. Also in the Halloween spirit, during the month of October, I'll take a shot at watching several horror movies per week. Anything from legitimate horror, psychological thriller, slasher, campy B-horror, or so bad you can't help but make fun of it the whole way through. I got a head start watching the original Chucky. It's called Child's Play. When the teaser image for the reboot came out, I can see why number 2 scarred me as a youth of Andy's age. Of Andy's age, LOL. What are some of y'all's favorite horror movie, or what are some of y'all's horror movie favorites recommendation? Also, platinum number 3 in the form of Spider-Man, shed a tear during that last act, 9.5 indeed. Favorite horror films? What do you got? Recommendations?
Don't watch them.
You gotta have one in your, oh come on, in your entire lifetime.
I'm also not good at blank
There's
questions on pulling things out of the thin air like that.
Welcome to the community showcase, Blood. Man. Okay, think about it while I throw out some stuff. Exorcist 3 is my favorite horror film. There is some weird stuff
Definitely
in that
don't
movie.
want to watch it.
Obviously, Exorcist is one of the greats, vastly superior to Exorcist 3 in every way. But I just got a soft spot for Exorcist 3. It's a really, really, and I'll read off all of the suggestions from our chat. You know, Halloween, Evil Dead every year. It Follows is very creepy. The Thing is a classic. Hellraiser. Ringu. Yeah, Ringu's creepy. I actually like, I think Ju-on which is The Grudge, the Japanese version, the original version of The Grudge. Ooh boy, I don't know if The Grudge would necessarily rile me up like it originally did, but there are 2 moments in The Grudge that are purely aesthetically horrifying. That it's like, this is not the story, this is not someone's performance. I mean, one of them is, but like, this is literally just makeup and sound, and like you can almost kind of see the moments coming, but you're just like, oh god. There's one on one that happens in a house, and one, it's actually kind of like emblematic of of Ju-on in general. It's a very famous imagery from that film. But one is security footage. Somebody watching a replay of a security footage, and like, and it was really great seeing Ju-on, because I saw The Ring, and then I was like fascinated with The Ring, and so then I saw Ringu, and then someone recommended Ju-on, so I saw Ju-on, and then The Grudge came out, and I watched The Grudge, and they repeat both of those moments in The Grudge, and they suck. They somehow made these moments unscary in the American versions of those. What did I see that's really great? Life is on, I think, Stars right now, but you can probably get it on Amazon. But Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds. It is a spooky space film. It's on the International Space Station, and there's little alien vibes, little monster vibes. But man, the thing that they face in that movie is so creepy. Cabin in the Woods is really great. So yeah, fun. Hereditary, yeah, if you want to not sleep, Hereditary is a fun one. If you want to call your mom, I love you. Oh no, Barry, I got you here. Yeah, you sent an image, so that's why I was going to show you the image that you sent. Or maybe you didn't. Maybe I put you in a completely wrong section, sorry. There you go. There's some recommendations. None from Bloodworth. Nothing.
Well, they mentioned Alien.
Event Horizon is campy. If you want campy horror, Event Horizon is campy. The original Wicker Man, the new one for comedy, nice. Scream is fun. The Ritual is good. It's on Netflix. The Ritual is fun. The other thing that I really like about Life is they're all very smart. You're watching very smart people problem solve a horror movie, and there's just so many times.
Not even the right genre. Smart people in a horror movie.
Sleepy Hollow is funny. It's got fun moments. Some really good effects. Some great gore. I love that they don't shy away from any of the decapitations in Sleepy Hollow. It's like, no. We're showing you all of those in graphic detail. So yeah, fun. Cabin in the Woods is great.
Yeah, I think out of all of those recommendations people throw it up, like Alien, of course, I've seen, and I saw the
Alien's
first Scream back in the day.
Rosemary's Baby's great. Like, yeah.
But not really a horror movie, but Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead's creepy. It's got creepy parts. Shaun of the Dead... One of my biggest critiques of Shaun of the Dead is it, like, gets emotional all of a sudden. You're like, get your drama out of this movie. What are you doing? Like, what? They have that, like, classic, like, I can't kill that person who turned into a zombie. They're my friend. And it's just like, get out of here. Like, same thing with what was the end of the world? I think it's called The End of the World. What was the...
At World's End.
At World's End. The end is like, the drama. I'm like, get out of here with your... make a comedy or make a drama. Stop it. Cool. Thank you, Jordan, and you look great, man, in that costume. Samo Rosman, aloha, Brandon and Blood. After missing out on the last 2 months due to working on my submissions way too late, hopefully this one gets in because I think you will enjoy the pictures and videos. Last week, I had to make an emergency trip back to Japan. You know how it is. You just gotta go back to Japan. So it was poorly planned and funded, but I managed to find the time to get some fun stuff in. And although I just missed TGS, arrived on the evening it ended, I did get to visit Tokyo Disney during its 35th anniversary and Halloween celebrations, in addition to the beginning of the Universal Studios Horror Nights with the One Piece event and amazing bonus. I would love to do Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights in Tokyo. Pick the album you like best since I took a ton of pictures, or show a video if you wish. Have an amazing October. Love and respect. Samo Rosman. Oh, you bet I picked some pictures. So I picked 9 of my favorites from your Tokyo trip. I just love taking off. And there it is. Like, nice. Taking off and the arrival. You say aloha, so I'm assuming this is... I'm assuming we are on the islands there. And we take off, and boom, here we come. He said Mount Fuji's over there somewhere.
Sure. But, yeah, it's always harder to see than people make it out to be.
In Osaka. Okay, good to know. Thank you. And here we are, but we're not at Disneyland. We're at Disney Sea.
Oh, okay.
Which is like the Epcot to the the Magic Kingdom in Florida, or the California Adventure to Disneyland in Southern California. And I love this park. When I went to this park, one of the only times I've ever been, it was the second year of operation, so I got to see a lot of the stuff, like just the paint was brand new. So I love getting pictures of this. I also didn't go during the day. I only went for like the last 4 hours of operation, so I was just like sprinting through this park, like, oh, look at all this crazy stuff. So it's really neat to see this during the day. And this is near the entrance, and you can see they got a little Halloween cheer up. But there's a lot of water. I don't know if you can see it. You can see a lot of the parks. I would hope so. A lot of the parks have a central something. So like Animal Kingdom's got the tree. This has a giant volcano, and they have a Journey to the Center of the Earth ride that is inside of the volcano. And there's a drop that comes out. They pop out right at the top of the volcano. And so it's just neat to see a lot of this stuff, these bodies of water. Also just great shot. You could just see thematically, just kind of seems like you're just like, I don't know where this would be, like what this kind of reminds you most of, but
I mean, from what I can see, it looks kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean a little bit, but
I get Witcher vibes. But I love the boat there. And then this is the middle of the volcano, and so you can see just the cliff up on the edge. When you pop out of the volcano, you ride around the whole rim of the outside, so you can see the inside. And the volcano is Journey to the Center of the Earth, and there is a 20,000 Leagues ride.
I can see
they might have filled with water. I don't know. When I went on it, it wasn't underwater. It was like underwater. So like, there was water in front of the glass on the thing you were in, and so bubbles would pop up between those panes of glass. But on the outside, you could clearly tell. You can see it in movies too, when they'll just have like slow-mo and like where you're like, rewatched Return of the King, and Return of the King has some terrible he's underwater effects where like they flash back to Samwise, and not Samwise, but Smeagol and his friend discovering the ring, and his friend gets like dragged underwater by a fish. And he's just, again, it's just like, put a fan on him and put some, blue over him, and he's underwater. And it's like, no, stop it. There were way too many special effects in that series for them to have them all be good. But just really wanted to showcase how cool the middle of this park looks, and how it's not just these 2 rides, but just kind of this whole area is themed, and you have this like boat that's just kind of cruising through there. There's Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Crystal Skull, which opened, I think, like 6 or 8 years before the movie. So it was interesting.
Whoa.
That I was like, oh, Crystal Skull. Okay, interesting. And I like did some research. Like, Crystal Skull. What's Crystal Skull? I was like, oh, aliens and all these weird backstory. Like, that'd be fascinating if Indy went after aliens, and then like 5-6 years later, we get this weird movie.
That's funny.
So yeah, the ride. Because
I think a lot of people went to that movie not knowing that was going to happen.
And if you've been on the Temple of the Forbidden Eye, same ride. They just changed some colors and some themes and stuff like that. It's kind of like the Harry Potter rides, like they just redid it. Here's the outside of Tokyo Disneyland 35th anniversary.
Nice.
And what was my last one? Look at that. Look at that beautiful castle. I love like it feels like a lot wider. It feels like the kind of the second tier, that second floor is like a little bit more elaborate, I think, than the other castles. And it's neat to see. I mean,
even the base of it is really wide.
It's just neat to see little Halloween colors, and I love the spooky clouds behind it. And there's a lot of really great stuff. Not only was this post mentioned in patreon.com/easyallies, go to posts, then click on showcase, and you can go back to the community showcase posts for October. But this was also the link that he put in the comments linked to forum at .easyallies.com, and there's video and all sorts of other stuff there. So if you want more of the adventures of Samo in Tokyo and Osaka, you can go and check that stuff out. Thank you very much for sending those. Thank you for making them Disneyland related. And I think I just randomly put Barry in here for some reason. So we got you, Barry. I'm going to go back to Cam for Barry's comment. Hey, Jones, hey, Blood, and chat. I don't have anything specific to promote, discuss, or shout about this month, so instead, I thought I would use my showcase submission to say thanks to a few members of the community itself. Aw, good vibes.
Nice.
3 in particular, thanks to Tahitian Warrior, who I've definitely seen in chat today, for the always welcoming conversation in chat whenever I get a chance to pop in. To Ms. Racy for thinking of me during streams that I can't be in chat for and getting in touch on Twitter. And to Echochrome for convincing me to hunt down a way to play the original Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm not far yet, but I'm already in love with that soundtrack. Sorry if I've missed numbers, etc. from usernames. I'm sure you all know who you are. Love and respect. And more shout-outs next month, Barry. Yeah, I love the idea of doing shout-outs to other allies. See, people talk about us all the time, or games and stuff, but we definitely want to focus on people more. Focus on our wonderful community. Mason Victoria, which I believe is actually over here. Yeah, here we go. Cool. Hi, allies. Today is my birthday. We're on to music and video, so let's do it. Buckle up, Bloodworth. Today is my birthday. It would be yesterday. Happy birthday, Mason Victoria. Although I'm very excited for the family festivities and the Thanksgiving dinners, I am probably most excited for one other thing that will bring my family together, only to rip us apart. Super Mario Party. In an effort to keep my creative juices flowing, I've decided to continue my artist portfolio by composing for various genres. When writing this piece, I found myself thinking about the Ice Cavern in Final Fantasy IX. Here's to hoping to write for another fellow Allies project someday. Love and respect, Mason. This also has some really great Halloween vibes. I love it. It's quiet. Let me crank this baby. I know there's a little bit of wonder in this, but there's just bad things in this cave. This cave is not going to end well. Yeah, wake up, Link. Yeah. Really, really great.
Yeah.
Really creepy and moody, and it was fun listening to that last night. I was like, ooh. Get me in the mood. Neil K. Bonsteel. Hi there, Blood, Jonesy, and spirits of the other allies. It's
Spirits.
a me, the Powers of EGOT guy. Many years ago, I discovered the strangest of YouTube shows called The Final Bossman. It only took a few episodes before I was hooked, and it became the gateway drug for the rest of Game Trailer's cast and content. And then, 2 weeks later, the whole thing shut down. I told myself, that's what I get for loving anything. Fast forward a bit to this year, in which I was rewatching some old GT content and thought about how devastating it must have been for your crew to lose all that. As far as I could tell, you guys were living the dream, given the freedom to create extremely creative content for a medium you care deeply about. That's the type of position you work hard for and should grant you the privilege to say, I did it, I'm successful, then poof. All gone. I didn't have to try to empathize that long before I realized that I too had gone through something similar just the year prior. This is a long comment. I'm going to go to the full cam. At the time, I had been working 6 years as a lead animator for an indie cartoon studio. We did a lot of Lego shorts, where I was given an access of artistic freedom in that I wasn't just animating, but writing, directing, storyboarding, and even coding when the chance came around. And years prior to that, I was striving to get into that very studio, constantly working on my own projects to bolster my reel and working for them PT while I was also working an FT jobs in LA.
Part-time, full-time.
Sorry. Then one day, about a year ago, just like GT, it all went away with a single somber meeting before I could even get my morning coffee ready. Couldn't even get the coffee ready. Thankfully, we were like mid-afternoon, early afternoon, so we at least had breakfast.
I mean, I was on an island recovering from food poisoning, but yeah.
Oh, man. I love one memory. I'm sorry just to stop this, but like I love one memory. I'm in the meeting with Athena and somebody else. I can't remember who I was with when we let Damiani go, and I was like, okay, well, he just moved, and like, all right. And it was really hard for me to like not show my frustration and my sadness that like we got to call Damiani and tell him this, and we like sat down in the office and like the phone was ringing and she was like, I'm sorry to do this. And I just remember turning to Athena from HR and I was like, it's my birthday. She was like, oh. And then Damiani was like, hello? And she's like, oh, hi, Damiani. And it was like, it was my birthday. And I was like, at least I have this ammo. At least I can guilt you by just looking into your eyes like, it's my birthday right now. It's rare you get little wins like that, but at least I got that. Yet, from the ashes rose Easy A. So why couldn't I do the same? Easy A inspired me to start refocusing my efforts on turning my life around and pursuing projects that may not make me successful, but certainly make me satisfied. I decided to dust off my film degree and an old nugget of an idea dormant in my college journal and do something fun. I made a podcast. It's called the Script Apart Podcast, and it's essentially about hapless actors doing cold reads of scenes from bizarre movies I've come up with. The first episode, for instance, is a tale about the underground world of competitor grocer baggers. Following the reads, my younger brother and I create studio audio trailers for the fictional movie, which I'm dropping right here for you to listen to. And should nothing come of this effort and people hate it, I don't really care. It's felt nice to spit in the face of fate and have some fun. Sorry if this comment has been extensive, but the appreciation of how much Easy A has inspired me spiritually and creatively is difficult to condense. Thank you for everything you cool cats do, Neil Bonsteel / Mayor McFrumples. A good opportunity before we get into this to remind people, specifically now that we are in the media photo section, that if you are not offering just a comment, keep that comment as concise as you possibly can. Neil has some wonderful things to say about us, so he gets a pass this time.
Somebody was asking why Dami had to be like, oh, that was just a round of layoffs.
Just at Defy, yeah. They just
because there's Damiani, Jamie and Kelly, and then Andrea and Max.
Damiani was the only person that was like in front of the camera a lot. And Andrea was and it was weird because Max still works, but you might still be at Defy now.
I mean, that's the weirdness of freelance, like, because I think he was more of a full-time editor, and then he got laid off, and then he was able to come back doing freelance work. Yeah.
This might be under video. Oh no, where did you go, Neil? Or maybe no, maybe he's over here. Yes.
We're on top of the world. Sometimes you forget you're looking at clouds. So when you fall, You don't know how hard it's gonna hurt. My fucking head! And you got to bag your way back to the top.
From the visionary director that brought you The Fly and A History of Violence comes a story of redemption, inspiration, and grit.
I didn't promise you nothing when I came back. Told you I was ready to bag again. That's it.
You couldn't even bag your way out of a paper bag.
In a desolate world where the only sport is the most deadly, one man must reclaim everything he lost and discover everything he didn't know he was missing.
You can take your career and your dreams and your family.
Starring Ryan Reynolds as Mitch Falcon.
But they ain't all gonna fit in your bag of life.
That deaf girl from That Quiet Place movie as Kimmy Falcon.
I'm a girl, Daddy.
You were the smarter of the two of us.
David Cronenberg presents
This is Cincinnati. Program market. Shit gets real.
The Legend of Bagger Mitch.
Bizarre. I love it. Oh, that's really great. Great voices. I love the music too. And don't worry, Neil. Neil's in chat right now. Mayor McFrumples. Don't worry about the long comment. It's just it's in the guidelines for the thing, and people tend to ignore it. So just using you as an example, but you get a pass because you said nice things about us. Matt Bolenbach. Ahoy, Mr. Jones, Mr. Bloodworth, and fellow allies. Last month, I shared my take on Moonlight Nocturne from Symphony of the Night. This month, despite Halloween rapidly approaching, I thought I'd go in a very different direction. I hope everyone has their dancing shoes on because it's time for a disco explosion. Do you have your dancing shoes on, Blood?
No.
Oh, Blood. I present for your listening pleasure Rainbow Road from Super Mario Kart on the SNES. Please enjoy responsibly. Love and respect. Matt B. I believe that is in music, and that is right here. Here we go. Whee! One thing I really like about this track, it lasts as long as the gameplay. So the track ends and you cross the finish line. I respect that. I really like timing like that. Oh, come on. Brutal. We've all been there. So bad at the SNES Mario Kart. Oh, I lied. Oh, he does a little sneaky transition there. Still made it happen, though. Still wraps up on the finish line. The production values. Pixelated transition that snuck past me. Props for speeding it up at the end.
That ending is pretty good, though. For sure.
Awesome. Kevin Gillet. Hello, October allies. The best month of the year is upon us. You are right, Kevin. Not only that, I'm going to spend the second half of the month in Japan, which rules. A lot of people go to Japan. Except for that part, well, I'll have to wait until I come back to France to pick up Starlink and Soul Calibur 6. Loving the Starlink hype. Oops, oh well. I'll be more than busy absorbing Japan, and at least I can get my hands on Mega Man 11, Astrobot, Super Mario Party, and The World Ends With You just before I go. Seriously, October is already my favorite month even without gaming. This is just overkill. Unfortunately, for my monthly music submission, no creepy music from me this time, but hey, if you want some, just go back to the July Community Showcase for my Night Hags violin music inspired by tabletop escapades. And next month, I'll share something I made some time ago, and it'll probably fit Jones's mood at that point. Instead, this month's submission is weird. I wanted to do something Bloodworth related, and I also wanted to go back to Korg Gadget. My painfully obvious first thought was F-Zero, but then I asked myself, is there nothing with slightly more Ezra-esque music if I'm going to do it in Korg? The answer, of course, is Earthbound. So, I sort of remade and expanded a bit on Battle Against a Weird Opponent from Earthbound. Hope you enjoy. Have a wonderful October, everyone. Kevin Gillet. And props to Kevin for recreating the battle screen for the graphic as well. Love that.
Nice. Yeah. This beat. You remember walking into some of these beats and these
Oh
battle
man,
things?
I was just driving. If you go back and you watch Blood's Earthbound streams, I'm like editing in the background and I'm just like feeling it. The music in this game is so good.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things. One of those things I picked up yet. I haven't like grabbed an Earthbound CD or anything.
Oh, nice. Do they have just Earthbound, or can you?
I don't know. I think it may be one of those ones where like the official soundtracks that I looked into didn't have half of the stuff that I'd want or something. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, the Mother 1 and 2 compilation is like pretty limited on what it has.
Windfishy, this is like Earthbound got into my Persona 5. Ooh.
Nice. Very smooth. Yeah, nice finding a way to end it too, because you know this just loops endlessly. So
speaking of ending stuff, we've had some comments that people are like, get to the good stuff right away in the showcase. Do the comments later, but like I just love wrapping up with music. It's just so nice. It's just like kick back and hear some fancy tunes. We are so lucky that we have some amazing musicians in our community that play this really great stuff. So we have two more updates from Michelle Jackson and Dan Allen for video clips, and then I'm going to run over that PC and do my best to bring over some updates that we missed. I don't know what they entail, if they're just comments or whatever, but I'll get on Solid Mic and do that. Here's Michelle Jackson with another game update. She's been giving us updates for a game that she is producing, and it is time for Bloodworth to get schooled. I'm very happy about this.
Hello everybody, it's going to be a pretty programming heavy month, so I apologize if it's too boring, but since both Bloodworth and Jones are here, I thought I'd clear something up.
Childo Phaelus.
Mishamagius?
Yes, child of Phallus.
Mishamagius. Child of Aeolus.
Child of Aeolus, Mishamagius. So Mishamagius is in chat right now. I've seen your name pop up, so thank you very much. But Mishamagius.
Mishamagius.
I will never forget that. And yeah, the child, she trolls, says it's not child of Phallus. I thought...
Hello everybody, it's going to be a pretty programming
all the letters
so
all
I
together.
apologize
It's tough
if it's too boring.
when you're reading.
But since
Talk about
both
asking
Bloodworth and
questions on the
Jones
spot,
are here,
pronouncing
I
on the
thought
spot.
I'd clear something up.
But I just love
Childo Phaelus.
Mishamagius?
Yes, child of Phallus.
Mishamagius.
Phallus.
Child of Aeolus.
Child of Aeolus, I will never forget that. Thank you. That's awesome.
The theme of the month was tackling difficult plugins, because basically every playable character needs their own custom plugin to support their gameplay style. And one that's been really tough has been for one of the Battlefield medics, who, rather than healing people, rewinds time on their body to send it back to a state of before it was hurt.
Whoa.
So you don't just regain HP and MP, you also lose any EXP or levels you've gained since getting hurt. So it was a matter of figuring out how to tell the game when to save EXP and HP and all that at certain flags, but also turn to turn in battle, and how much EXP to deduct from the total gain at the end of a battle. Another one that isn't so much difficult as it is just long is for the potion making system. The main potion maker you work with is both a medical doctor and a practitioner of magic, so it's a blend of modern medicine and like herbalism. So you pick from 5 types of potions to make, like pill versus salve. And then you pick an active ingredient, a modifying ingredient, and a stabilizing ingredient. And based on those inputs, the game spits out an item to you and saves the recipe as a skill to the potion maker. So the story is split up into multiple chapters, each chapter having a side A and a side B that focus on different aspects of the story. At the start of each chapter, you pick 2 characters to control either side. And I was having the player go through one side after the other, but that made it difficult for me to alter story events based on the decisions made on either side.
Wow.
And then I thought, why don't I just run them at the same time and let the player switch between the 2 sides freely? That makes so much more sense. It's so much easier. I don't know how I didn't think of it sooner. That's gonna do it for me. Before I go, I just want to say thank you so much to the allies and to everyone who submits every month. Your creativity and talent and opinions are all so inspiring and motivating, and I feel so lucky to be able to be a part of this every month. Love and respect, everybody. Bye!
I'm so invested in this game. It's so much fun. Before we really got into coding, or even so we saw a little bit of gameplay last month, it was just all characters. I'm just like, oh, I love these characters. So yeah, it was so exciting to see that come together. And yeah, coding is not boring. Those are fascinating things. None of us know how to solve those problems that you have, but they're fascinating things to think about. And I think a lot of us attempt to talk about coding. Every time I even try, I'm like, I'm getting myself in trouble here. Just as far, I think from a base value, what I can do is at least determine what's harder than what. I don't know how these things are done, but at least I can say I think that is a harder thing to make than this. It's just great to see all those challenges, many which you are putting in front of yourself by having a lot of these creative ideas and then trying to figure out how you can do it. So that's awesome. And finally, from Dan Allen, greetings from the Mitten allies. All of the love, all of the respect. I submitted to the old showcase for the first time ever last month. I wanted to use the community showcase to make something weird for the community showcase, so I submitted a poem that was, for the last month, miscredited as being written by me, which was unexpected. It is, in all likelihood, truly written by Yu Suzuki. I do feel a little bad about that. This video is what came of it, though. I know you guys hear this all the time, but thank you so much for everything you do. Love and respect. Your friend and ally, Dan Allen, Detroit, Michigan. It was also appropriate that you're dealing with myself and Ian, 2 people that would not have recognized that this was Shenmue. And I don't like to pick faves. I just put this, basically I list these on category, but then within each category I list these on just the order that I got these submitted. But I think this video is absolutely hilarious. Props, Dan. I love it.
He shall appear from a far eastern land across the sea. A young man who has yet to know his potential.
Poirot is Belgian. I'm sorry, he does say that. He is Belgian. That's true.
This potential... My flow.
Start over.
My flow is just...
That's so funny to me, but like, I was just not expecting that. I'm going through all these submissions, like, what am I oh, it's from Shender, like,
He shall appear from a far eastern land across the sea. A young man who has yet to know his potential. This potential is a power that could either destroy him or realize his will. His courage shall determine his fate. The path he must traverse, fraught with adversity, I await whilst praying. For this destiny predetermined since ancient times, a pitch-black night unfolds with the morning star as its only light. And thus the saga begins.
Woo!
That's the end of that. Dan Allen.
Thoughts?
It sounds like the beginning of an epic. It's very cool. I'm wondering which game
inspired it.
Yeah, it's like Onimusha or something.
Maybe Dan wants that to be a game.
Yeah,
maybe that's a request for Dan.
I just think
somebody take this and run with it.
Well, yeah. I mean, clearly next month there's gonna be. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, Huber, make it happen.
That's all you gotta do. I mean, could that have worked out better or what? Man, I just love... I love that we got that wrong.
Right.
I love that we specifically said that Huber should make it happen. Oh, man, that is so funny. Okay, so I might correct these in a second, but in case I don't, our end credits, Cisco Ace Jackson Garcia said hold, XWF Outlaw said hold, and then later said stand by.
Stand by.
And VG Junkie said stay on target. I don't know if that was also a hold or if that was just VG Junkie's comment for the month of October. But, I can't remember who it was, but we had a couple outlines.
We stayed on target pretty well. It's 2.5 hours.
We did. I feel well.
Yeah.
We got a couple more posts.
Yeah.
These could be extremely long posts. So I'm going to leave you, Daniel Bloodworth, and I'm going to go over to that computer.
Okay.
And I'm going to grab the things that we have missed. We reportedly missed... Oh, no, we got Barry. Eric Jackson said we missed something from Eric.
Right.
We got some more comments down the bottom here, so let me do some quick fixes if I can.
Jackson.
Turn on Salad Mic. Let me know, chat, if that's working. Salad Mic's working, if you hear me over here. All right.
Can you hear him? Well, now he's not talking.
Well, now I'm talking. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I hear the salad. Whoa. The salad ghost.
Oh, Chelsea Candy Coated Thorns added a comment at the end here. Ron, we honestly love you, and we think you'd love the EZA fan page on Facebook. A good bunch of dudes over there. We're here for you. Candy Coated Thorns. Okay. And this is Candy Coated Thorns' actual post. Hey, Blood and Jones, I was going to submit a different piece for Community Showcase this month, but with the announcement that Box Peak is finally coming out, I couldn't contain the hype. Enderglow and I did an art trade with the theme of Box Peak in mind. I drew it and she colored and created the background for it. I know you guys are working on secret projects, but this announcement makes me so excited to hear about stuff coming down the pipeline. Thank you for everything you guys do. So this is on Twitter. Let me... Oh, look at this thing. Okay. Hold on. All right. Okay. Actually, no, I'm going to keep the cam. I can do this, and then this, and then this. Oh my good. This is really great. I wonder if Kyle's seen this. And here we go. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I love that. I love different interpretations of these characters. It's just so fascinating.
That huge cowlick.
Yeah. It really is a trip. It really is crazy, like, hearing Kyle talk about these characters, reading the script, voicing some of them, and then seeing other people take that design and kind of run with it. Even just the shirt that he's wearing, and I can't wait to see even more of this coming in the future. Love the boxes in the background. So that is beautiful. Thank you for that. All right. Beautiful. John Wingate got skipped last week, so double posting? What up, Ian and Brandon? My first time submitting to the showcase. Woot. Just went to a Floyd Yoga Jam, which was a yoga festival full of music, art, yoga, good vibes, bonfires, and drum circles. Had a blast. I was volunteering working security at the alcohol checkpoint right behind the stage. I bet that was an interesting job.
Okay.
Everyone was so nice. So I just drew while listening to bluegrass, funk, soul, rock, reggae. It was way chill. Love and respect. Wing attack us. P.S. Beauty Boys for life. Easy update nights when. Here is another Twitter post. Aw, okay. Just a cool piece. And I'll hide that from Blood.
Hide it.
Because you saw that before I posted it. Boop. Boop. Just a fun little pattern. Doodles are definitely accepted here in the community showcase. Just doodle that right there. Boom.
It's Wingaticus, is that right?
A wing attack us, I think.
No, it definitely is not that. They're making fun of that.
They're making fun of wing attack us?
Yep. They are saying Wingaticus is right.
Wingaticus.
Yeah.
Okay. If you put a space between G and A, that is wing attack us. Wingaticus. All right. I will make a point to remember that. And I love that. I'm curious where that doodle began. I'm curious if you started in the middle there, or if you like made the square first and then filled it in, or... Beautiful. Thank you. The
EZA Forza Horizon 4 group, just search for .EZA as the tag.
Oh, nice. And because it got skipped last month, let's throw John in here again. Hey, Blood and Brandon. Wingaticus here. Jones, you wanted screenshots, so here you go. Wasn't sure how to group the photos, so it's the last 4 posts in the link. My boss, my Palico, some Spider-Man, my custom in Gran Turismo, Zelda, Toad for Smash, and my badass FemShep from Mass Effect 2. Have a great one, guys. Love and respect. And a tease for next month's Mario Paint. Okay, let's see how...
Mario Paint? They're going to make something in Mario Paint, or are they painting Mario?
So I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to do add source, screen capture, window. Cool. Let's see if I can resize the web sometimes and it gets weird, but this is okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to move you down here. And there we go. Okay. So you can see the different pieces of art. So we got, of course, MGS5. Oh, but wait, weird. Why is that? Is that MGS5 or is that Survive, I guess? Because he's created his own character.
Oh.
Weird. I don't recognize that character.
Huh.
Here's his Palico.
Nice.
Let's see, Lego Worlds, nice. Spider-Man, nice. Crunch.
Nice.
Good crunch. That guy in the back there is hacking that thing, though. You got to get him. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Little Turismo. It's funny, the bridge is like the little Turismo logo in the left corner. Oh, you can't see it. It's blocked. Here, let me move Blood out of the way. That logo. Oh, no, you can't see it anyway. All right.
Can't see it.
Can't see it. It's not there. Didn't happen. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, right. That's the Mass Effect 2 character. Yeah.
I love screenshots. Yeah. 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 What? I don't know how far down the rabbit hole we're supposed to go, but we got some fun, some Odyssey stuff. Just started hot yoga. There you go. I think we're done.
Very nice.
Let me just do one last refresh and look for Eric Jackson's post.
Oh, those 2
See
images
if I can make it happen.
that were added.
Yeah. Okay. Scrolling up, clicking comments. Eric. Boom. Okay, here we go.
Boom.
Oh my goodness, yeah, crazy. Okay. Close that, close that, close that. Open that. Oh yeah, these are good. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm glad we didn't miss these. Oh yes. Let me do this. Sorry. Here we go. Nope. Oh, I don't even need to do that. It's already right over there. All right. And that is what? Look at this crazy thing.
Whoa.
I'm guessing that is, here, let me pull that out over here. And Blood can't see that anymore, sorry. Tough and Tumble month, but now that I finished a couple of, oh yeah, you're talking about your sculpting work that you're doing.
Oh, okay.
So there we go. There's a bit of sculpture for you. And loving the jolliness here. You ready? Oh yeah. Yes.
Oh, funny.
Just a quick drawing of Daniel Bloodworth for fan art for Easy Allies. Love the smirk. Love the F-Zero logo.
Yeah, that's a lot of detail to put into that F-Zero logo.
Yeah, I wonder... yeah, if you custom did that, that's amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if... Yeah, that looks pretty custom. It doesn't look like you just grabbed that logo. But amazing. Nice. Glad we were able to fill in some stragglers.
Very cool.
And yeah, any showcase is successful if it comes in for under 3 hours. We were only at about 2.5. And I still have water in my cup. We did it.
Yeah.
I want to thank first and foremost, obviously, all of the amazing people that a lot of people subbed. We didn't mention a lot of subs during this. You can, a lot of people possibly watching this archive on YouTube. But thank you so much to everybody for hanging out and chatting with us, pointing out stuff. Thank you for alerting me to the fact that we missed a couple things and we were able to pick those up. Thank you to everybody that is a patron of Easy Allies. Again, you can patreon.com/EasyAllies if you want to be a part of this. $10 and above, anything above $10, you get to submit to the community showcase. We put up the post at the last week of every month, usually about a week before. I usually do it around the Thursday before. And it is, if not the first Thursday of the month, if the first Thursday of the month is like the second, then we'll do it the week after that. And we'll have a different ally. I do not know who the next ally is. I got to make a list of all of the old allies and what they've been on. But Ian was on last month. Blood's on this month. Smells like Bossman time. I don't know. We'll see.
Smells like Bossman time.
It's getting some kind of a Bossman musk.
Oh,
I don't know.
With after all the Box Peak premiere, and we gotta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, get some Box Peak fan art submitted there. Yeah.
You can make whatever you want. Yeah. You don't have to make Box Peak fan art.
But it'll come anyway.
They're good. Yeah, we accept submissions of all shapes and sizes. The guidelines are submitted in the post, which again, you can check patreon.com/EasyAllies. Go to posts. I mean, you can just scroll down and find it, but the easy way to find it is click on posts once you go to our page, and then on the left, you can see a bunch of tags, and you just click on Community Showcase, and that'll bring you to the latest post for the month of October. And thank you to everybody that posted. Again, we are just absolutely blown away. We do a lot of fun stuff here at Easy Allies video-wise, and covering games, but there's just so many things that all of you are doing that I have so much respect for, and it's just so fascinating to not only see this work that you're producing, but in the case of Michelle, see this in the case of Mishamagius, to see the progression of a project. It's fun to hear, even if you can't submit something this month and you just want to let us know what you're working on and maybe what we can see coming up in later months. We love those suggestions. And of course, last but not least, I want to thank Mr. Daniel Bloodworth, who did double time today. If this was not enough, if you're watching this showcase, you can go back to the Cup of Jones episode for, let's say the 4th? For the 4th of October, 4th or 5th?
4th today, yeah.
4th today. For October 4th, I was joined in person by Daniel Bloodworth. He's usually in the chat, but he was like, well, if I'm gonna, be there for Showcase, I might as well come by 2 hours earlier, which is not something most allies think of. They're not like, oh, well, I'm gonna be there, I'll just show up hours earlier to just be a part of something. So I appreciate that, Blood. It was really nice. It was nice having you here at Cup of Jones. It was nice getting a couple questions, and I'm just like, Blood. You know, I'm like, yeah, I don't have to answer everything or get corrected by Blood after the fact in chat. But this is really a joy. It's a lot of work to put all of this together, obviously from the people submitting it and from me gathering all this stuff. Patreon likes to delete comments and stuff slips through the cracks. But I'm always in such a great mood at the end of the showcase because it's such a wonderful opportunity to communicate with our community here on Twitch and obviously on Patreon. But just such a fun time to go through all of these submissions. And I look forward to the rest of them. I hope you have a wonderful October. Thanks again, Blood. And take care, everybody.
Thank you, guys.